Welcome to the show, everyone. Where are we at? We are in Valhalla. Not the Viking heaven, but we're in Valhalla Artworks. And we are here getting a tattoo by my man, Ryan here. How you doing, Ryan?
What's up, guys?
Awesome. So, I've been getting this tattoo. I had this tattoo idea for the longest time. And Ryan is the man. He did my right arm, as you can see, part of it here. I'll show you guys that later. But yeah, man. Hopefully you just enjoy this conversation with us. So Ryan, how you doing today?
Good, man. How about yourself, Carl?
I'm doing all right, man. And
ready to get stabbed?
Ready to get stabbed, man. All in the name of art.
I like it.
Oh man.
You think of a better reason to get stabbed?
Not at all, man. This is like, it's like living artwork.
Yeah, man. You all set?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm testing out this portable mic, so this Bluetooth mic. So that's something new that I'm trying out, and so we're gonna see how good it captures and everything.
It looks like a one of those old Lucky Rabbit's foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So real quick, man, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
And you can't have more superpowers for your superpower, right?
I don't know, man. Go ahead.
Oh,
Let's see what you got.
I think a cool superpower would be to have the ability to know if any given thing is true.
Okay.
So whether it's like a theory you're testing out yourself or something somebody else tells you,
Okay.
like you have supreme
Knowledge?
comprehension of truth and false.
Interesting. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Especially all the misinformation that's going on in the world and all that stuff.
Sure.
The kind of like, what is the truth?
Well, think about how many things that you think are the truth.
That's another thing too. Yeah.
That could be completely wrong.
Absolutely. That's my perception of the truth.
You just assume that it's wrong.
I'm just assuming that yeah, man. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that you might be able to get somewhere with that, you know?
It's interesting.
What about you?
Me? Man, it's not as depth as yours, but my superpower was pretty much like Superman.
Okay.
You know, super strength, bullets and all that stuff.
Okay.
The ability to fly, really. My main thing was the ability to fly and just like have a bird's eye view of stuff. And be able to just like, I want to go somewhere, I could just pretty much fly there.
Right.
So, but one of my co-hosts was like, well, what if you could only fly as fast as you can run? And there was a few guys that we had on the show that aren't that athletic or whatever.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, they'd probably pretty much be hovering, just like a like a blimp.
It'd be fantastic. They just casually roll into a Best Buy.
Oh
hovering.
Yeah. Oh man.
People would be so amazed and be like, dude, go faster. I'd be like, that's it. This is all we got.
That's as far as it's going, man. As fast as it's going.
Start carrying around like a house fan to push yourself further.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
So what would you do with your power, man?
Well, one of the reasons why I brought this question up is because I normally ask all my guests on the show this question, but at the same time too, there's all the superhero movies that show superpowers in good light as well as bad light, and then there's The Boys, the show The Boys. Have you ever seen it?
That's fantastic.
I know, right? It's like raw and gritty, and it's like everyday people with superpowers, and it's really raunchy and all that stuff, man. But I mean, I think that's the way it would really be.
Yeah, I mean, people are still going to do people things.
Exactly.
Right, regardless of what plight they have or what
Exactly.
powers they have. Or,
Exactly.
I would argue that it would probably exacerbate the problems we have.
Oh yeah, it probably.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So.
What if we lived in a world where people didn't have superpowers, but like chimpanzees did?
Oh man. I think one of my guests on this show, he said chimpanzee would be the worst animal to fight.
Yeah.
Because a chimpanzee will run over and like rip your face off and like play around with it. And,
ripping and tearing, man.
yeah, oh yeah, man, absolutely. So I agree with him on that.
Yeah, but imagine if they had even more superpowers.
I couldn't imagine that, man.
They already do. They're called humans.
No. Oh yeah, man.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You are absolutely correct on that one, man.
Yeah, we use tools to do horrible things.
Yeah, we do. I was gonna say, man. Wow. So, one of the other questions I would ask you would be, what would be the animal that you would be most afraid of to run into the wild?
Bear, 100%.
A bear?
Bear, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. I said a shark.
A shark?
Because
yeah, it's a pretty shitty situation.
Yeah, because I'm already in the water. I'm
Right.
already out of my element and all that stuff. So, you know, I have to worry about swimming, getting tired of swimming, drowning, and the shark too. But one of my other buddies said was a great white whale. So.
Yeah, I've run into bears in the wild.
Okay.
You know, and nothing bad happened or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm sure I've run into 1,000 sharks I wasn't even aware of.
It's true.
Right? Like,
yeah. Absolutely.
I think you'd die faster from a great white attack than a bear, because I think bears just
they'll just rip you apart.
they just start eating.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? But like I think like a shark would probably chop limbs off pretty quick. I think you'd be out pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And we suck underwater, right? Like a bear, you'd be very cognizant of where you're at, what's going on. I think if you got attacked by a shark, you wouldn't see it coming, number one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I don't know, I just think it'd be over quicker.
Yeah.
I'd be wrong.
I don't know. Either way, it'd probably be agonizing.
You ever see the pictures of people that get bit by sharks?
Yeah, I've seen some surfers.
It's
bites on their legs or their side.
Yeah, it looks like they got cut with like a katana or something, man. That's wild.
It is crazy, man.
So are sharks and bears the most popular answer?
No, actually, really, it's been pretty mixed. It's been pretty mixed, but definitely a lot of people had to agree with me with the shark thing. Like anything in the water. One guy said mountain lion. He says because they'll just stalk you, pretty much. So.
Right. They attack you from behind too, right?
Yeah, they'll jump out of a tree and get you. All that stuff. But as you were talking about bear, man, saw something on Joe Rogan. There's this guy that survived a bear attack.
Oh, the one who's beating the shit out of it?
Yeah, man. He was. Yeah, it's crazy. He was not only climbing a mountain or whatever. I don't even know where it was at, but just watching this video, man, this bear was charging at him like full speed.
Yeah, that was wild, man. My buddy sent me the video. My first response was, I bet you he broke his hand when he missed the bear hitting that rock.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Because the noises that were coming out of that guy, man.
Oh man.
That's absolutely. Like it was haunting. You know what I mean? That's like truly a cornered animal making sounds.
Oh yeah, man. It's crazy.
Imagine like the street cred you get after that. You'd be that guy hanging out at the bar, like,
yeah, I fought off a bear.
Kick a game to some chick, be like, hey, you want to see a cool video? That's just me beating up a bear.
Yep.
No big deal.
Man, that's crazy. Nature is wild, man. Nature is wild.
Yeah, man. So you're going on a trek to Maine.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
Do you have a contingency plan if you run into some gnarly animals?
To be honest with you, I always carry a little knife with me, but it's not going to do much, man. That's just going to wound it or whatever. So.
Do they have constitutional carry up there with firearms?
I definitely have to check each state.
Right.
So, but I definitely have to to see what's going on with that. But still, even whatever I'm going to be carrying isn't going to be really, it'll deter it.
Right.
But it's not going to stop it. Yeah, I don't have anything high caliber like that.
So I was reading this thing, it's in a magazine, I don't know, Shooting Illustrator or something like that. And they were talking about like the larger calibers and stuff like that. But, you know, telling stories of, you know, this round didn't do what they wanted it to.
Yeah.
But then I was reading online, and there's I forget what the metric's called, but they keep statistics of like bear encounters where like and wildlife encounters where like firearms are discharged in like, you know, protection of one's life. And
yeah, absolutely.
I was surprised to see like you know, they list like the people, the area they were at, the type of bear, and the caliber that they used and how many shots they fired.
Yeah.
The people that successfully killed bears in encounters the most were with 9mm.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, because it accounts for at least what people were reporting as these encounters, which I was surprised. So they had like, you know, they had 10mm, 44 mag, 357, and I was really surprised to see that. You know what I mean? Because you always hear the opposite. You know, that it's not going to do enough, but it doesn't take account for, you know, the range, I guess, and the skill of the shooter. And
yeah, the accuracy and all that stuff. Yeah, shot placement. You know, a lot of people. The biggest thing is people can debate the shot placement compared to, you know, caliber size.
Right.
So that's a debate that, you know, people argue all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's because, fortunately, not many people have been forced to be in that situation to have a real life answer to it.
Yeah.
Right? They just kind of rely on statistics and things they've heard from other people.
Bigger bullet, bigger hole is what people are saying.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm not, you know, a ballistic.
Yeah, I'm not a ballistic scientist either, man. Same thing here. But I could just imagine just shooting a bear in the head. Like their skull's got to be like the thickness of that skull.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you get lucky, you could shoot it in the mouth or maybe its eye.
Right.
But still, like, I have no idea.
Is that what you aim for? If you had the opportunity to aim?
Yeah, if I had the opportunity to aim, I would figure the biggest thing would be its mouth when it's opening up and it's like, you know, going towards me. As much as close as I don't want to be. But probably just discharging your weapon, you know, that loud sound and all that stuff, that might just ensue of like, you know, like scaring it off and everything.
Oh, hope, man.
I can only hope too, man.
Imagine how gangster bear would be, just be like, I don't give
If
a
he
shit
just-
about that.
Yeah, you can just imagine seeing a grizzly just standing on its hind legs and you're just trying to pop off rounds on it.
I just imagine, like, think about like what you see like a human being, like with adrenaline in them, what they're capable of.
Oh yeah, you can imagine an animal like that.
Make it 5 to 10 times the size.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
And it's got knives for hands. And it kills stuff with its face. I just can't. Yeah, fuck bears, man.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
What's crazy is that I read a statistic about like hippopotamus are killing people left more than any other animal. So I have no idea, man, but I've seen some videos of hippopotamuses. Like their mouths are huge, all that stuff, man. I guess people just think they're docile or whatever. They're still a wild animal.
Yeah, I've read this statistic for years. I've read that statistic. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's at least in Africa that was a statistic, and like,
Yeah.
But it was like it wasn't even close. Like everything else like didn't even come close to the amount of kills.
I know, right?
I seen videos of them chomp on like watermelons. You ever
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty wild, man. But they're vegetarian though, right? They're not
From what I believe,
predatory, right?
I guess, but you know, if it feels threatened or that's what I'm saying. Like how is this happening? Like, what is going on? Are they hunting hippopotamus? Are they like, you know, are they backing them in a corner or something like that? And all it's got to do is fight for its life. Because if you back anything in a corner, pretty much it'll fight.
I remember reading years ago that they were like tipping small boats, like
Oh,
canoes
yeah.
and kayaks, like that they would. I don't know if they're territorial, but I think they can run really fast on land too.
Yes, yeah. Definitely heard that.
I wonder like who the spirit animal of the hippopotamus is. You know, they just see some like fat ass who's like extremely athletic, super deadly, right?
Oh yeah. Man, that's funny.
Would you ever go like to Africa? You think?
Oh yeah, I would definitely like to go there. I'd like to do like a tour on the plains. You know, I'd like to see a lion, all that stuff.
Right.
I'd like to see it in its natural environment, not in a zoo. Yeah, I'd like to see, rhinos, all that stuff.
I used to love the zoo, man, and I found out that apparently a lot of them just like, I guess, give animal Xanax to a lot of these big cats and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they're depressed, I heard.
Yeah, it's got to be a bummer, man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you're walking around, you're around a bunch of drug addict animals.
Keep them docile, maybe.
Yeah, Like I wonder if they get them like hooked on it too. Like so they get them to do stuff.
Yeah, just talking about the zoo and animals and everything. Was it Harambe? Harambe, when he got shot and killed. That's crazy.
Yeah, I forgot all about that shit, man.
I know, right?
It's
It was years ago.
I always wonder how people get over the barriers. How is that even? Have you ever
People
been,
do
like,
stupid
you've seen
stuff,
the barriers
man.
At zoos, right?
I seen them, man. I seen them. People do stupid stuff.
Like, I mean, so you've been around prisons, obviously,
Yes.
but like, how hard would it be for somebody to get into a prison that wasn't supposed to?
How hard? That'd be pretty hard, man. I mean, it could be done. Knowing what I know now, it could definitely be done.
Right. But but these like exhibits, like, how much harder is it, other than having like rifles pointed at you and barbed wire? Like, it's pretty much the same thing, right?
Well, but at the same time, too, like the zoo is made for, spectacle for, everyone to come here and check out, watch. I don't think, I mean, they have visitations at jails and prisons and stuff, but it's not like, they don't really, there's like no interactions to where there's no, like in areas, like there's no glass. It's a huge open pit and there's, the animals are in there.
Right.
So, unfortunately, I was going to say natural selection isn't a thing anymore because the stupid people are still multiplying. And, I've seen people, they're hanging their kids over the thing just to get closer to the thing, or they're trying to take pictures or videos or something. They're doing something stupid, man. And people are getting close to, like, the monkey cages where it's, it's just bars there and they could reach out and grab you and all that stuff. I've seen people, like getting their hair pulled and all that stuff. I mean,
It's like messed up to think about. I feel bad when anything happens to a kid because they're just being a kid. They don't know.
they don't know any better,
Right?
right?
Or they just don't understand consequences. When you see it happen to an adult,
Oh yeah, they know.
like, I can't stop laughing, even if it's horrible. 'Cause I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, especially if they're like being a jerk. to the animal,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like, you see that instant karma just kick in. It's so satisfying, man. But it's also terrifying to see like one of those lions like rip somebody up against the cage and just going to town on them, man.
Man, recently I started. I saw this guy on Instagram. I think he's the Gator guy or something like that, and he's just like walking around in like a pit full of gators. I mean, my one friend, he told me, he's like, those animals are fed so much they're like docile, pretty much. So, I mean, feed him a lot, but he's just like, he's like so close to him. He's like kissing him on his face and all that stuff. Like, I want nothing to do with an alligator, man. That's like still one of the original dinosaurs, pretty much, I would have to say. That and was it Komodo dragons? Those things. I saw this one video of this Komodo dragon like swallow a whole like deer, pretty much. I don't know how big the deer was, but that Komodo dragon looked huge. It was ridiculous.
I seen I don't know if it's like Planet Earth or one of those like
Yeah.
But it was so sad, dude. This Komodo dragon walked up to like whatever the native like bulls or whatever, and just bit him in the ankle. And the Komodo dragon knows that in a few days that wound's gonna fester from the venom bacteria they have. And he's just tracking it, watching this thing follow this cow around and watching it, its health degrade.
Oh yeah.
And his legs like doing bad, and like eventually the cow just like sits down because
It's done.
Can't walk. And the Komodo dragon's like, great. Like it just like pulls up, starts eating. This thing's alive, just like maybe can I change it to Komodo dragon from bear?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
I think about it, because like that'd be the worst. It doesn't even kill you at first. It bites you and follows you around until you're too weak to defend yourself, and then just starts eating you. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, but something like us, like we still stand a chance in that fight or flight, fighting this animal thing off. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these animals, they also got to figure that they could get hurt during this attack. Is it really worth it or not?
Right.
Depends on how hungry they are or what. You know what I'm saying? So I think that instinct has something to play a factor into it.
Yeah, I just.
But yeah, definitely Komodo dragon. But there's no Komodo dragons around here that I know of. You know what I'm saying? So I base it on things that I would actually run into in my life, day-to-day life, pretty much. I live close by the ocean. There are bears around here, mountain lions, close by, all that stuff. But Komodo dragon, yeah, that's definitely one there. Alligator, I would, if I had more of a fear of alligator being close, like people living in Florida and all that stuff, man. But
so what's the over/under, man? Illegal pets in our state. What's the over/under on Komodo dragons? I'm gonna guess there's at least 5 in New Jersey that are
in New Jersey
that are illegally owned. At least 5, I'm gonna say.
I'd say maybe 10 in the United States. Maybe 10.
The only reason I say this is because I talked to somebody recently.
Yeah.
Who lives, relatively in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 5 alligators.
5 alligators?
5 pet alligators. Not 1, but 5. And I just looked at them like, that sounds like the worst animal you could have. Like,
it's a bad scenario, man.
Right? Because, when it's small enough, I guess you can handle it, right? But
yeah, but where do you have the room for alligators, man? Like 5 alligators.
What do you feed 5 alligators? Like, you see that the emotional support alligator?
Oh, I did not, man.
So, it's not even a troll. Apparently, there's a real emotional support alligator in Philadelphia they were showing, and this dude was just walking around kids, like around like an open hydrant, with an alligator. Can you imagine, like you're like watching your kid play, and somebody walks up with an alligator on a leash? Like, what would you do?
I don't know, man. I'd be like, it's time to go. We gotta go.
Just get the fuck out of there.
It's time to go, man. I want no parts of that.
What would you do if you saw like other kids coming up and petting it though? Like, the hell with those kids, we're getting out of here. Like
some dogs, you pet some dogs, man, it's gonna attack you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you pet a alligator wrong or whatever, something like that, man, that's following this alligator guy or whatever online. And it broke it down, and he said a few things like, avoid touching it here and there and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to touch an alligator anywhere, to be honest with you.
No.
So if you touch it wrong, man, it's gonna like snap at you, and that's it.
Well, there's like certain species throughout the history of man, right? That like it was a very good and trophy deserving thing to kill these like apex predators.
Yeah, because it was like a masculine thing, like hunting lions and all that stuff.
Right. Like, do we forget? Like, Like, always I know it's the bear issue going on in Jersey now too.
Yes.
Where they outlawed hunting, and now the population's getting out of control.
Yes. So.
And, yeah. Like what? I mean, I like the idea of nature doing its thing, but I also don't like the idea of like people getting mauled by bears
exactly.
checking their mail.
Well, it needs to be it needs to be quelled and all that stuff, and the population needs to be just enough. I think talking about that, the buffalo's coming back. I don't think it's on the endangered species list. So meat's back on the menu. Yeah, bison burgers.
Yeah, they're good, man. What do you think would be like the craziest animal to get loose, like in the hood?
Get loose in the hood?
Yeah.
Probably a gorilla.
A gorilla?
I think a gorilla.
Yeah, they're pretty mobile.
A silverback gorilla be jumping on buildings, man. Jumping on buildings. Yeah. King Kong.
But it'd be interesting too, though, right? Because like I assume you have a lot of individuals with firearms and that are very willing to discharge.
Absolutely. So I don't think it would. I think it would get some people, but if it was in like a city type area, it could climb on rooftops and all that stuff and get mobile. It would do some damage. I'd have to say. Like a lion, probably not. A bear, probably not. I think more of like that agility, that climbing stuff and everything. Even though bears can climb, lions can climb, there's nothing like a gorilla that could climb. So.
How long? Until you think some dipshit would probably try and like befriend it, like thinking they're the one person that could be like, communicative with.
Oh yeah, trying to sign language it and all that stuff. Speaking of that, I saw like a meme, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you train, I train, and all that stuff. Right. To where I seen one, it was like a bear attack. Oh, I'm gonna take its back and choke it out. And then on the other side of the meme is like, you're gonna get mauled to death, pretty much. But I mean, even if you were to get a back of a bear, it's just gonna fall on its back, pretty much, and crush you. Of like it's 900 pounds.
If anybody thinks that they're strong enough to mess with maybe a baby bear, maybe.
Well, Khabib was wrestling baby bears and all that stuff,
right. But like once that thing can like can have progeny, when it's old enough. Like,
oh yeah.
I think people are like grossly overestimate their strength versus an animal.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, 100%. It was crazy.
I mean, like an 8-pound house cat can mess you up. Like, how much of a chance would you stand against a 200-pound dog that wanted you dead?
Oh yeah.
Like you stand.
No chance.
No chance. Right? Like, I don't even know how you would hurt a dog like that, but like. And then make it bigger and even stronger and faster.
Nope, not happening, man. Not happening.
I kind of would like to see people do it. You know what I mean? Like these idiots that would just be like, I could do it, bro.
Yeah, I got this.
Like, coming Friday night. Bear fights.
Spectacles and all that stuff, man.
It'd be fantastic.
Bear fights.
Right now you should call it bare knuckle boxing or something like that.
Oh, that's funny. What was I gonna say? Like the old Roman gladiator days where there would be fighting animals and all that stuff too.
Right. They fought animals against animals also.
They
did their own like death matches, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What death match would you like to see?
I'd like to see, who's the real king of the jungle? The lion versus the gorilla. I'd like to see that. Definitely like to see that.
That would be wild, man.
I know, right? And then I'd like to see a bear versus a gorilla. That'd be pretty cool because they're, right?
Yeah, I don't know which one my money would be on, man. Like, are they the exact same weight? Like, it's like a weight class?
I would say so. Yeah. I would say weight class. Have to have a weight class.
Man, I don't know.
That's interesting, right?
Well, you never had to see what a gorilla would do to a bear, right?
I don't think so. I'm sure there has been, but I've never seen it or know of it.
Like, I've never seen a video of gorillas bite anything, but they got giant ass teeth too, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. They got giant fangs, man.
I wonder what their bite strength is versus like, an animal like of equivalent size, like a bear or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder what it would be worse if it was like one of those the Bondo apes, the giant chimpanzees.
Oh yeah. I don't know, man.
I want to see it. Do you think there's like super ballers out there that like this underground animal fight club that they bet on and shit?
Oh, I'm sure, man. I'm sure the rich, paying for everything and anything, man. I'm sure it's out there.
The baller version of dog fights and cockfights and all that.
Yep, they're probably in another country where it's legal, like Thailand or something like that, or some deserted island,
right?
That the rich and famous go to watch these animal fights. I'm sure, man. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I feel like I wonder what would be like the most lethal animal if they could all be the same size. So say you had like a spider. Imagine like 100-pound spider.
Well, supposedly a daddy long legs, or the technical term is a cellar spider, is the most deadliest or venomous spider. Mm-hmm. It's just that its fangs aren't. But yeah, man, a spider, that'd be ridiculous.
Can you imagine, like,
if you want
what would be? It would probably definitely be some sort of like insect or
probably, yeah,
arthropod or something like that, right? Like, they're so ruthless, man. Like spiders, praying mantises, centipedes, like.
Just imagine a giant wasp.
God.
Those murder hornets or something like that.
Oh God, man! You see what those hornets do to bees, man. Imagine if that could do it to other animals. They make a good fighting game.
Yeah.
Giant bug fighting game.
Man. Wow. You seen any new movies lately or anything?
I've just been watching some of the shows
that
have been out, like which they kind of feel like movies. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't think I've seen any movies lately.
I wanted to see the movie The Black Phone, I think it's called.
I have a few customers that have said that they enjoyed that a lot.
Did they?
It was a lot different than they expected it to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
I want to go check that out.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of starved for good horror movies at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The only other thing I've been recently watching is the Sopranos.
You going through it again?
I'm going through it again. Yeah, man. And we're gonna have an episode. We're gonna do a Sopranos episode.
Oh, like
we're gonna talk about it and
comment on it. And stuff.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm on season 4. Yeah, I just got on season 4, man. Or close. I'm close to season 4.
That's a series that I've actually never seen all the way through.
Yeah.
I never had cable or HBO.
Okay.
Back then when it was out, so I've seen a few episodes on my buddy's house, and
Yeah.
it was cool. It's kind of hard to like understand what's going on contextually, right? But,
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta make time for that one of these days.
Yeah. I did finish watching Westworld.
How many seasons are they at that now?
4.
4?
4 seasons, man. And I liked it a lot, man. I liked the whole story behind it and everything else like that. It was pretty much blew me away. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Characters were really good as well.
Yeah.
Got a little weird at the end, but that's how things go.
It started out weird.
Well,
Right.
yes, absolutely. It took me a while to think about it.
That's
something I had to think about.
So I've seen season 1 of that, and I am begging my wife to watch the subsequent seasons, and she hasn't been in the mood.
I gotcha.
But I'm hoping one day, because I thought season 1 was one of the greatest seasons.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure I've ever
absolutely.
seen.
I still think it is the best.
Yeah, not gonna spoil anything, but the big twist, I didn't see it coming until like maybe 5 minutes before it happened. And my jaw dropped on the floor, and I'm looking at my wife, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think I know.
Like I can't believe this just happened. Yep.
And that was a doozy, man.
It's good stuff, man.
But what do you think your favorite HBO series has been? If you an imaginary gun up to your head and you had to choose one.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones?
I think Game of Thrones still, hands down, still one of the best ones. I started watching the new stuff. Was it House of Dragons? It's pretty good. I didn't get to finish it yet, so I'm not sure how many more episodes I got. But
how rabid of a fan would you call yourself?
I'm not a fan in any of that stuff, man. I don't have that drive to like read people's background stories online and all that stuff, or read the books or anything like that. And I mean, I enjoy watching shows. I enjoy everything behind it, like the effects, the costumes. Like, it's visually appealing to me. And especially Westworld, I like that so much because of it's like the cowboy lifestyle and all that stuff.
That was a really cool juxtaposition of styles too, right? Because it's like
it was futuristic
Old West and futuristic. At the
futuristic
same time.
and Old West, which was really cool. I definitely like that, especially in the later episode or the later seasons.
Right.
It touched more on the outside of the park, pretty much.
Okay.
Not to get into full detail, but yeah, you actually get to see like the future of the world, and some of the things.
Just the resort.
Instead of just the the resort, the park they call it, and all that, and you kind of see like how the future is, pretty much, or their perspective of it, and some of the stuff is really cool. Speaking about that, Netflix had that series, that Cyberpunk series. That was awesome. The animated series.
Oh, I didn't see it. It was good.
Awesome.
The Netrunners one.
Yep, the Netrunners. Great. Such a great.
I forgot that came out.
Oh man. So,
You would recommend that though, huh?
I'd recommend that, especially to you.
Yeah.
That's something more. That's like something that I think you'd like.
Yeah, anime video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Below, right?
Exactly. So after watching that, I binge watched that whole series. After that, I actually started playing Cyberpunk 2077 again.
It's a good game, man.
It is, especially all the bugs are fixed and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's got me on there again.
I think a lot of people, might want to revisit that game if they, if they haven't, because I'm currently playing through it myself.
Okay.
And I'm having a lot of fun. It's just what a talented studio and people.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a shame that it had like a rough start.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought it, it just didn't run super well.
Yeah.
I play on PC, but I literally did was like, I'm just gonna wait about a year and just let them
do whatever they got to do to fix it.
It's a shame.
Updates and all that stuff. Yeah, there's some updates that were like 26 gigabytes or something like that. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Well, I think that the main problem is, working in a creative endeavor like tattooing. I don't have anybody that's pushing me other than myself to financially succeed.
Yeah.
Whereas these big giant companies have so many investors and publicly traded and all these things, and have to turn a profit for the shareholders. And there's no we need more time to perfect it. Most companies don't have that luxury anymore, it seems like.
Yeah.
And there's been a few games that just a little bit tweaking and this and that, and you could see this is what it was meant to be.
Yes, absolutely.
It was like you can tell when some of these games have been pushed out half-baked, you know, and it unfortunately is becoming more and more of a norm.
I think a lot of those too, they're on a time crunch with a contract as well. And if it's not released at this date, then they're getting fined or they're not getting paid or something like that. That's what I think. It all comes down to almighty dollar there, pretty much. I've seen it in construction sites as well. They have a contract, and if they get done earlier, they get an actual bonus. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if it's worth it for like a studio like that. Even though, we'll say what CD Projekt Red, that's the company. They did the Witcher series, but you know that had a rough start. But at the same time too, it's like if they keep having bad starts, how many people are going to be staying loyal to the company?
Well, like,
that's another thing too.
When you have these major titles that people wait for years to come out, it'd be hard to boycott an entire company because they had a shit release, right? Like,
I mean, the product is still good. You see what I'm saying? So in the long run, it's still a good product that they're selling.
Right.
So
I think it's just some of these AAA titles. It's a miracle that they come out at all. I mean, the amount of moving parts.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of talent, the amount of people have to get on the same page. It's just.
But the product, like it's crazy. Just like, you know, Cyberpunk, the amount of cars and the visual effects in an open world. There's so much that gets put into something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I fired up Cyberpunk originally.
Yeah.
I enabled ray tracing on it because I had an available card that could do so. And mine's kind of like, it can do it. Not well, but
yeah.
But just seeing what it was, that was the first game that I've seen in years and years and years where I truly said to myself, this is what the future of graphics looks like. Like, it's just so incredible. They're able to develop these things that people don't have the capability to experience. You know, it's the crisis of our our era now. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Crisis. What a game.
Yeah, but it's pretty staggering to think that, you know, a couple Nintendo consoles from now, and you'll be able to play Cyberpunk on Ultra. On a handheld, you know, something like that. Like,
yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
Do you think, like, let me rephrase it. What percentage of a game enjoyment to you depends on, like, the graphic fidelity of it?
Well, it's visuals, but it depends on what game it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some games that I play that are going for that old school retro look, and I'm fine with that because that's what it's going for. But if it's something that's going for like the highest caliber, we'll say Cyberpunk, the highest caliber as it could be, and all that stuff, then the visuals better be up there. So, but like, we'll compare that to like a Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption. Like, I know what I'm getting from there. I'm not getting like super realistic graphics to where, you know, it looks like an actual human being or something. I know what I'm getting at. It's more of like the gameplay, the mechanics, the customization for the actual, you know, player in the game and all that stuff. Like, I look at those things overall. The sensitivity of the controls and everything as well. So.
Yeah, that's an aspect that I think a lot of people don't consider is the reactiveness.
Yes, that's the thing. Yep.
Because you know, you're old enough to have been back playing, you know, probably Super Nintendo, you know,
Sega Genesis and all that stuff. Yep, to where things were lagging or, you know.
Do you remember when the original Resident Evil came out?
Oh yeah, and how those controls were, man.
But it didn't feel that way back then, because just
no, you got used to it.
The way that you moved was so new, and like
well, that was
pseudo three-dimensional space, right? And like it didn't feel tanky at all. But if you go back,
Play it now,
dude,
yeah.
It's
horrible.
It's brutal.
It's horrible, yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing, like that was like the newest thing at that time.
Yeah.
So we adjusted to that. And then we keep adjusting to the newest thing and the newest thing and these first person shooters and the way that we'll say like a third person over the shoulder camera view and all that stuff. So, you know, going back, of course it's gonna feel weird. That's like if we all went to manual cars now.
Right.
People wouldn't know what to do. But back in the day, that's all it was manual cars. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I think that it's like another paintbrush that like these people use to create an experience of the video game, right? Because arguably, when you're fighting the controls, it makes the whole experience more tense, right? So like arguably, if you want people to be tense, less, you know, it's maybe a better choice to have clunkier controls, you know. Like I wonder if that's, you know, coming back to the graphics versus, you know, gameplay and stuff like that. Like I always think I like gameplay because some of my most favorite modern games don't have realistic graphics at all, but they're still really cool looking. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing, like we'll talk about Elden Ring or the Dark Souls series. Pretty much, those are pretty much basic, you know, basic controls, pretty good graphics and all that stuff. But it was just the gameplay, you know, the puzzling, the figuring out each boss and, you know, figuring out the weaknesses and just the grind, the struggle and all that stuff was, you know, it's pretty, I guess, rewarding for a fact of figuring out the puzzle, but you know what I'm saying?
I do know. Have you seen the D-makes they're doing of the Dark Souls?
No.
There's a couple people that are doing D-makes. So the first one I saw, they're
like 16-bit graphics, right?
The first one I saw it looked like PS1.
Yeah.
So the poly count was similar to that.
Yeah.
And I just saw one the other day, all right, that was like a side-scrolling.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Man.
That retro stuff is coming back, man. There's a thing for it. That's us when we were kids playing stuff like that. You know, bringing it back for us. I mean, I like it. There's this one game that I played. It was like an indie game, but it's like real blocky and all that stuff. But it was just a fun little game just to pick up and play for like 10 minutes and just put it down or whatever.
Right.
Like I'm not invested in it. It's these short little missions and all that stuff. And you know, it's just something fun. Yeah. Sometimes that's all I need is just something fun. Nothing to get in depth with and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that there's a different feeling you get from these things, right? Like,
yeah.
Like when you look at, you know, a very realistic painting, or you look at something that's like, you know, like one of the Picasso paintings, right? They still evoke strong feelings, like as long as it's, you know, captivating to the viewer, right? Like, I think it's more interesting to go with something that people haven't seen. You know, like I like realistic games and stuff like that, but sometimes, you know, I'm not a fan of like Grand Theft Auto or something like that because it's like, it's just like watching the news of Philadelphia right now.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like, but I want to see the future in Cyberpunk. I want to see, you know, through some sort of lens of an artist. You know what I mean? Like, there's a game that just came out last Friday called Scorn.
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar?
I did see a few previews of it, and I did watch some gameplay. But like that, the visuals, yeah, I mean that's futuristic alien world and all that stuff. It's like biomechanical and everything. It's what's it from? H.R. Geiger.
So the two that I read were H.R. Giger and Vyacheslav Beskinsky. Okay. And man, does it deliver on that promise? Like I don't know if you gotten to play it, but if you haven't.
No, I haven't played it, but I've watched gameplay and all that stuff, and it is neat. Yeah.
But you know, I'm not very far into it, but so far it's like you get to jump into these, like the artwork or the mindset of the artist that were the influence, and it's like you get to explore the why. Like, so you see like you're like all his art, like it's awesome, it's rad. Like everybody, most people think it's something really engaging about it, right? But you look at like all these like machine-like structures or organic-like structures. You don't ever ask why, like when you just see it at first, you're like, that looks cool. But like what that game does is imagine if those things all had a purpose.
Yeah.
And you get to explore this world and figure out what is this biomechanical machine organism. What is it accomplishing? How does it work? Why are all these parts? Why they look the way? Like, it's a super interesting game, man.
I know, man. It's crazy. It's almost it just something like that makes me think of like the human body.
Yeah.
How biomechanical we are, pretty much. All the veins and muscles and tendons and ligaments and all that stuff, and you know, your heart and your brain. You know, the nervous system and everything. All the it's crazy, man, to think about it sometimes.
Yeah, one of the coolest things I read, the way that somebody, like, who was a doctor, put it about the human body is the human body is more a series of reactions than just parts that do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's the amount of chemical reactions that go into every single thing that is needed for your body is just, that's an astounding thing to think about. You know, the brain hasn't had the capacity to think of the scale.
Yeah, we're what, only using what, 5% of our brain or something like that?
I mean, I don't know what
the
they
percentage,
consider, but that's only based on the metrics that we know to measure.
Exactly,
right?
Because it's the most unexplored, I mean, body part that we have, man. Like, it's so hard to, I guess, to really explore the mind.
Yeah, well, you ever read that, like, this is a cool quote, I'm gonna butcher it, but like, they were like, the brain is the only thing in the universe that exists for one reason, and that's to study itself.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, we're the only, like, what else? Like, you have an idea of what the brain is and what consciousness is, and, but I think we're probably so far off the mark. Like, I think that we're probably so
oh, absolutely, man.
So incredibly wrong that, you know, it's gonna seem just as silly as previous theories on things seem.
But that's the thing, like, imagine if we were able to unlock our brain, like, we'll say the movie, what, Limitless or something like that, to where we would become super fast or super strong, or we could fly or teleport, or, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, I just couldn't imagine exactly all that stuff.
Now imagine being able to know the truth.
Exactly, as you were saying, man.
You could ask that question. What is consciousness? What is existence? You know, is this a dream? You know, is it a simulation?
It's just the Matrix, yeah.
Are these just rudimentary terms that we've come up with that are far too simple? Like, I think about this often.
Yeah, man. I do too, as well as, you know, reincarnation and all that stuff, and heaven and hell, if you want to call it that, or anything else. You know, what's next? That's the thing. What is next?
Well, you know, our perception of time is linear, right? We go from point A to point B. We start a conversation, eventually we'll end a conversation.
Yeah.
But if time is like more dimensional than that, it's it kind of bends my brain to think about, like, you know, we perceive time as linear, but, you know, I've heard the idea of it being circular, but I've also heard of it, you know, being infinite. It doesn't have a start or a stop. You know, it's like one of these Mandelbrot sequences or something. The more you zoom in, the more complex it is, or the more you zoom out.
Yeah.
You know, the more the micro and the macro just are infinitely perpetuating each other.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting to think of, man.
Well, we got superpowers, maybe. I'll let you know, buddy.
Yeah, please. Please. And on top of that, as we were talking before about the Joe Rogan, he had the interview with the pilot with the UFOs, man. So here we go, man. Did the UFOs, or we'll say aliens, did they create the pyramids in Egypt? What do you think?
What do I think?
What do you think? Your opinion.
My opinion is that we are one of many iterations of humanity that's been on the planet.
Yes, I do believe that.
I don't know the origins of us. You know, maybe we could have come from different planets and we're stranded aliens that lost technology to a cataclysmic event. Which would be a cool movie, right? Humans go to a planet, a cataclysmic event. Now they're cavemen, like Planet of the Apes.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly. Well, yeah, absolutely.
But you know, we're always cocky with our science. You know, we think that once we figure out a metric that seems somewhat reliable to measure things against, we think that there's no further reason for study, right? Like, I don't know how radiocarbon dating works. I've read about it, you know, but
I couldn't even think about what it is.
Yeah, the radioactive isotopes and all that stuff.
Yes.
But like, but as far as the pyramids go, I think that if we were around longer than we suspect that we were, I mean, that entire area of the world, we view it as, it's a desert, you know, and all this, like, but all that was insanely different back in the day.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, imagine, I don't know, hypothetically, let's say that, what if the pyramids were built underwater? Like, so how do you move a rock across the sand? It's pretty freaking hard.
Yes.
But I wonder if, you know, we have the technology to move something across the water and strategically drop things. That might be easier. Or, you know, I've read all sorts of goofy stuff, like people using like acoustic waves to move things, like which you can demonstrate on small scales.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then there's it's in Florida, that sculpture garden, the guy claimed that he knew the secrets of how the pyramids were created using sound.
I think so, yeah.
But ironically, he has no video and nobody's ever got to see it.
Of course not.
Yeah. Like, so, but, you know, if aliens were the ones to do it,
Yeah.
sure, it could be aliens, but I want to know more about why we call them aliens. Why we just assume that it's aliens.
Well, I guess the term is because it's alien to our nature, in a sense. I guess that's the term that they made. But at the same time, too, like the government doesn't call them UFOs anymore. They call them, what was it?
UAPs.
Yes.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yep. Unidentified aerial phenomenon is right. Because the amount of projects and stuff that they're doing, you know, their space projects and everything. The one guy, Joe Rogan, again, he had on his show, actually worked on, he's claimed that he worked on an actual, an alien aircraft.
Oh, Bob Lazar.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bob Lazar. Yes, absolutely. That was such an interesting conversation, man, that he had. And especially him coming out in the public and actually talking about that too.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's insane.
That's what I'm saying. Can you imagine listening to that podcast and being like, I know all the things that are true or not true?
In that conversation, yeah.
Conversation, right? But like, any given conversation, but like, I wonder, you know, I have to be careful with conspiracy theories because I'm very susceptible.
Yes.
You know,
I gotcha. Mm-hmm.
because I enjoy them, and you know,
Absolutely.
they're intriguing and interesting.
But you do have to be careful with
I
that.
typically dismiss most of them at this point because, you know, once you come across the idea that like how many large groups of humans can work in conjunction and keep a secret,
Yeah.
and that's almost impossible, right? But yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe we'll have the opportunity to find out something in the near future.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. It's if we have a future.
If we have a future.
That's a whole nother thing too. Yeah, the way that things are going, man. I don't know.
That's why I kind of think that, you know, the idea of like all these like UFO sightings and all these disclosures and all these things, I feel like so much of it is probably us.
Yeah.
Just because when, do you know what year flight was accomplished? Was it Orville and Wilbur Wright or whatever?
Yes.
I don't know the exact date, but we'll just say
it's like 19 something, right? Or is it 18 something? Yeah. Okay.
18 something maybe, right?
18 something.
18 something, whatever. Early 19th, early 20th.
Yes.
Or
yeah,
whatever.
we'll say that.
But how many years before we were able to fly? Between that and we figured out like we can drop bombs from that thing in the air.
Not only that, now we can fly into outer space. Like we can leave the planet. You see what I'm saying? Like.
But just look at the escalation. How many years later, before they invented a plane, before they were like, we can blow shit up by dropping shit out of that sky? How many years from that point?
I think World War I is when they started dropping bombs from planes, man.
So that wasn't that long ago.
No.
And then, boom, 10, 20 years later, we're dropping atomic bombs? Think about the escalation of technology. You know, but they probably never thought about an atomic bomb before because they never even thought of a bomb before. You know, like. So this all happened the better part of 80 years ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's crazy.
Years ago, right? What kind of systems and discoveries have we made since then that we civilians don't know about?
Yeah.
We know there's at least some, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you know, I wonder how many systems we have that are so far beyond what our understanding is, because the general public, like you or I or something like that, we have a rudimentary understanding of physics.
Yeah.
You know, we have a rudimentary understanding of chemistry, maybe a rudimentary understanding of how electronics work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even our rudimentary understanding doesn't even come close to what was advanced back then. You know, so people that are, their whole focus in life is to further the science of these things. Like, I can't imagine what we have that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Just because people just perpetually get better at things.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they get better at sports.
Faster, stronger, all that stuff.
They get better at, you know, things that are good and bad, right? We just get better and better at it. And I think the same thing applies for people creating new technologies. You have all this previous knowledge to base it on, but once in a while you get an Einstein or someone that knows finds this data and can put it in parameters that can be used for something. Right? Like we talking about going back to how the brain processes information and stuff like that. We probably say we only use 5-10% of the brain. Yeah. Because that's the only metric that we can quantify.
I gotcha.
As usable resource.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so we know that we're wrong about it, right? Like in physics, for instance, there's I'm trying to remember this. It's like 5 fundamental forces of physics, and we don't know what the 5th one is. You know, it's electromagnetism. I'm not going to sit here and try and
name them all.
Yeah, but there's an invisible force.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think that a lot of people assume that it was like dark energy or dark matter influence.
Dark matter, yeah.
And you know, that's just the area of the overall scaffolding of physics that we base all our metrics on. You know, So overnight, if somebody did discover something, it'd be amazing. You know, it's going to make old science seem like witchcraft. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're still putting batteries in things, you know, and then the batteries die and you throw them at, like, I feel like, you know, we get the really shoddy version of everything that's probably the true potential of what's been discovered.
We're still trying to figure it out, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, look at the podcast, right? That's an evolution of conveying thought.
Absolutely. Conversations and all that stuff. And
Yeah. And
you could pretty much say anything on it unless it's false information.
oh yeah, big no these days.
Yep. So
No alternative facts, right?
nope. It's just our opinions.
But it's
pretty much
interesting
it.
to think about, though. Like, before language, we had body language.
Mm-hmm.
And before body language, we had chemical language, pheromones, and things like that.
Yeah.
And the further you look, the harder it is for me to understand. Like how anything is like perceiving its existence, let alone communicating in it.
Yeah, man. It's like animals and insects and all that stuff. They use sound and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We base their abilities based on our abilities, right?
Yeah.
They have incredible hearing. Well, maybe it's not just the sense that's hearing. Maybe it's a whole different thing, right? Like,
It's true. Yeah. Man.
if you could have one animal ability,
One animal ability. Probably able to jump super high.
Okay. Like jumping spider or flea high, or
Like yeah, something like that, like a cricket or something like that. I'm thinking,
okay.
I could jump, high and long distances. It doesn't look that big from a cricket's perspective, but from that cricket, I'm sure it's. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Imagine a Nike endorsement.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I've never thought about this question until now.
What would you want?
I got to simmer on this for a minute.
The only other two things I could think of would be night vision
Okay.
or be able to breathe underwater. Maybe sonar from like a bat sonar.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be pretty good.
Sonar,
Yeah, dolphin. Yeah.
That would be pretty interesting. I know that they discovered a lot of animals can see ultraviolet.
Oh wow.
Which, it's part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So I think that's they're finding that, all these migratory patterns of, birds and insects and stuff like that, that's what they're basing on us seeing those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, maybe we'll be able to see in a bigger frequency.
Man, that's
I
interesting.
wonder what that should look like, man. Like,
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
I don't know. It's a hard question.
Yeah, that's pretty good too, man. It's pretty good. That's something I'm gonna have to bring up for my viewers.
There you go.
If they have anything that they, any type of animal, I guess animal power? What they would
Maybe a
have?
cool one, regeneration. Like a starfish, like regenerate limbs.
Starfish, and I think a Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start cocking it.
Yep. It's funny.
But imagine the jackass movies you could make if you could regenerate limbs.
That'd be just ridiculous, man. People would just be jumping off buildings just with no parachute.
Oh man, you imagine like what kind of dark places making realistic movies would go.
Oh, dude.
Like turn
But
the
then-
special effects community on their head. Like, okay,
But we've seen so much, and the special effects nowadays, like you see someone get their head chopped off, it looks pretty realistic. We're desensitizing ourselves for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So what would classify something for us to really think that it's real, unless someone told it's real, and it's in like a grainy, like setting. It doesn't look like there's any stop cuts or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, what would initiate the?
Because we could probably record a movie on my phone, and there's points in time to where things got to be stop, cut, edited.
I guess like what would initiate the suspension of belief?
Yeah.
right? Like you just like just agree, like, okay, we're just gonna go for a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder. That's an interesting thought. I wonder like what's gonna happen with like movies in the future with like. So have you seen like the images? They're artificial intelligence systems that'll just compile results. So you could say, I want to see a picture of
Oh yeah.
Shelma Carl's thing in the style of Rembrandt. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
also worked on Leonardo da Vinci. Like that's gonna happen with videos too.
Yeah, it is.
Like imagine when you're
different
gonna be able
style.
to say like, I want to see this in the filter of Martin Scorsese. You know, with
Yeah.
the soundtrack done by John Williams or
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Oh man,
It's gonna get really weird, right?
that's gonna be pretty cool. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Like to see any movie I want in cell shading or something like that.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Or just to have the ability, like, I want these concepts. Make me a movie.
Man, limitless,
Like
limitless.
a tailored movie
Oh,
to
yeah.
consciousness. Maybe that's what we're experiencing right now.
It's true. It's our own movies.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
I know that there are theologies that say that you choose most things about your existence before you exist. And some of these esoteric beliefs and some of the religions. And, you know, the more I've read things like that, the more it sounds like character creation in a video game, you know? And it's it really messes with my head. It makes me think, like, which one influenced which? You know, like if we're living in a simulation, did that influence the idea of that? Or did the idea of that influence the idea of having simulation?
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of the possibility of us living in a simulation?
I'd have to say pretty high. I'd have to say, you know, if we're in some type of like Matrix type VAT machine or something like that, and or if it's just now at the same time too, maybe it's I just think that I'm the only one that's in existence, and everyone else I created in my mind to fill that. You see what I'm saying? Fill that, purpose in my life.
Right, they're mere reflections of you. For better
Exactly,
purpose.
exactly. So that's a thought that I have as well. Like how do I believe that other people are real? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand it completely.
So,
It's an interesting.
but then why do I, consciously knowing this, then why do I keep doing the same things? For purpose? Why do I go to a job? Why do I do this? Why do I pay taxes? Why do I put gas in a car?
That gets to some really dark questions, really. If you
Yeah,
keep going
right.
Down that
If
rabbit
you keep
hole,
going down
right?
that, yep.
But yeah, I don't know. You know, when we think about like simulation, I think it's the overall sentiment for most people to consider that like we as an individual have to exist for there is simulation for us to be in.
Yes.
But I feel like we could just be part of a simulation that would just be just running simulations. Like the significance of the individual and their ego. How much does that actually matter? Is it necessary to have them? Because like video games, like a lot of video game characters aren't based on somebody that existed. But here we are. We have how many iterations of certain video game franchises over and over based on characters that don't exist at all. Like how does Mario have to be a real person to have simulation of Mario? Does Mario have to be cognizant that Mario exists to have simulations of it?
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, when you're strolling through the woods this weekend, man.
Oh yeah, man.
Maybe mull over that one a little.
Thinking about that. Yep.
Speaking of Mario, did you see the trailer for the movie?
No, I didn't.
Ooh.
There's a new Mario movie coming out.
Yeah, it's all 3D animated. Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario.
Is he?
Apparently, it's very contentious,
Wow.
but I'm down with it. Jack Black is Bowser.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta be good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go treat, man.
Interesting stuff. So, as we were talking about vacations and all that stuff, you could travel anywhere in the world, man. Where'd you go?
S4. Area S4.
Area S4.
Yeah, isn't that where Bob Lazarus is?
Yeah, man. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could,
You could go there.
with impunity.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You did S4. How about you, man?
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I was thinking more of like on vacation. But yeah,
Okay.
no, that would be good, man. Wow.
Yeah, well, I guess somewhere that I could go on vacation that's not S4.
Yes.
I think I would like to go to like the woods of Finland.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that, well, at least every picture that I've seen looks like a storybook, man. And,
Sweden, Norway, all that stuff. Yeah, definitely want to go check those out.
yeah, fortunately, it seems like it's a bad time for the world to visit a place like that. You know, because at least what I read is there's some rockets pointed their direction. You know, but
I think there's rockets pointed in every direction right now,
yeah, that's true.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, but, I think that would be pretty cool, man. To go see a place where people haven't intervened too much with the nature of it, you know. But there's also not an overwhelming amount of like venomous snakes and insects and all these things, which I'm wholly assuming. I could be entirely wrong about that.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's crazy just thinking about that as we were talking about rockets pointed everywhere. Someone told me a long time ago there's a doomsday clock,
Okay.
and
The one that assumes that we'll destroy ourselves.
destruction of the world. Yes, I think this was created after World War II,
Okay.
after they dropped the atomic bomb and everything like that.
Right.
And just to watch it in like the positions of it as it's getting closer to midnight is doomsday.
Right.
In each event in the world where it's gotten it closer to midnight, man, it's crazy. And I think we're maybe a minute or less than a minute to midnight, the way that things are going, dude, from this perspective of this doomsday clock.
Oh man, that's not great to hear.
No, it's definitely not great to hear, man, and it's crazy to think about that. But yeah, I mean, everything that's going on in overseas and all that stuff. But I mean, is that what the media wants? Does the media want us in fear and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so as well, because it kind of controls people.
Keep them tuned in too.
Yes, that's another thing too.
Right. Whenever you have like these, well, you know, I don't know if there's like a nefarious government trying to control people, but it's a natural human instinct to control other people, right? And
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it's one of those things where if there's a problem, it's so big that you need the government to fix it or protect you from it, right? You're always going to have control of people over that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, look at COVID.
Yeah,
It's a problem like, what am I going to do about COVID? Well, I could stay home, you know,
absolutely.
and not,
Not
interact
do
with
anything.
people. But other than that, there's not much I can do at all. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
it's true.
at least when it first started, anyway.
Absolutely.
But who's going to call the shots? Who's going to make the protocols? Who's going to say what to do and what not to do? Like, it's a natural instinct. Somebody's going to want to do that, right? And you end up with people in power that want that power.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I think that it's a very advantageous position to have people in where they feel wholly reliant on, or whatever organization to handle a problem that nobody else seems to be able to handle. Like aliens, right? Or pandemics, or war, all these things. Let's just convince people they don't have any power as individuals or small communities. And I think people have gotten really good at doing that. You can see, people controlling at a local grocery store. You just wait in line, you watch enough people, you could see somebody's making us think about something, trying to manipulate a situation for their benefit, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And like, yeah, you know, I was at a Wawa once, and ordered a sandwich, just waiting there for a sandwich. This guy gets a sandwich, you know, oh, thank you, walks out the door, comes back in, you know, within a minute or two, while I'm still waiting for my sandwich. And the sandwich is like clearly like half eaten, right?
Oh,
and he opens it up, and he's like berating the employees for putting something on it or missing something. I forget which one it was, but something he didn't want happened with it. It either had no pickles or had pickles,
something like that. Yeah.
and he was insisting that they remake it for him.
A brand new sandwich.
And give it to him for free.
Oh man.
And you know, maybe he deserved it, maybe he didn't. But the sentiment that I was getting watching this, I was like, this dude is getting a free lunch. He wants his money back, and he wants a sandwich after he ate half of the sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, how many bites of the sandwich would it take you to realize that there was something that you didn't want?
Probably one.
One, right?
One bite.
Like,
I'd bite it and taste something that I'm like, oh, what is this? Like onion or a pickle or something on it, or mayo or something. But yeah, not halfway in it. Not like, oh, did I just taste something? Here, let me take another bite. I think I taste something on. No, man,
just to be sure,
you'd pick it up and look into it, man.
Yeah.
Take one bite and you'd be like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, but my point being is this guy.
Oh yeah.
They were very compliant too. They're like, we're so sorry. But this guy just kept going the extra mile, insisting that they give him his money back, and gets a sandwich. And I was like,
no, man.
Well, why would you want your money back if you're getting the sandwich you want?
Exactly.
Right? It's kind of weird, but that's what I'm saying. This person was utilizing, you know, any way he could.
He's trying to get a free lunch.
Situation.
Yeah.
And that probably happens in every aspect of life, all around us, all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, how do people that are in charge end up in charge? You know, everybody's got those bosses. Did you ask yourself, how did this clown get this job?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Or sometimes maybe I'm that clown, or you're that clown, right?
Yeah, maybe I'm that clown. In somebody's world or somebody's story, I'm the clown.
Yeah.
Or I'm the bad guy and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Or if you were in the way of somebody ascertaining power, then you're that clown to them, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It's so hard to judge, you know, who's right or wrong. But what I do know is keep seeing people that want to be in charge are not typically the savory ones that come out victorious.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that will ever change.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, I think people are starting to wake up, like really wake up about stuff.
Do you think it's just the ease of access to information?
I think that as well, yeah.
Or alternative media, through podcasting, these type of things?
Yeah, I think so, man. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, you want to...
What's up, Mike?
Go ahead. Check it out, man. Yeah, you can go come around here if you don't want to, man. Check it out, man. But yeah, man, it's interesting what you do. So how did you actually get into tattooing and stuff?
Kind of totally by accident.
By accident?
Yeah.
Well, you were, I guess, art student and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, in high school, in the late 90s, tattoos started becoming a little more popular.
Yes.
So I was, always doing artwork my whole life, but a couple kids asked me if I would design a tattoo for them. And eventually, a close friend of mine, his name was Nick, he asked me to design something for him. So I did, and he went to this new studio that just opened up.
Yeah.
And he had to have it done in 2 sittings, so I had never even been to a tattoo shop, so I said, yeah, I'd love to go with you. He asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to check out a tattoo shop, hang out.
Yeah.
And the lady who opened up the shop, she had liked my artwork, and she asked me if I wanted to make some money doing some artwork for her, because she was the only person at the studio, and I guess she had a big demand for clients to do design, so she gave me a couple things to design. So it took like a week or two, something like that, and called her up. And I said, okay, this stuff's done. You know, I can drop it off. And she asked me if I wanted to apprentice.
Oh, wow.
You know, I was totally unexpected, but I was like, yeah, absolutely.
That's cool, man.
I figured I would pay my way through college with tattooing.
Yeah.
That was the idea. And I enjoyed it so much. And so, you know, I started going to art college after I graduated high school. I hated it. And I dropped off without telling my parents.
Oh, you just dropped out. Oh,
well,
man.
I figured I'm a working artist now. Paid.
Yeah, you're
artwork,
doing it.
The capacity to tattoo.
Yep.
So yeah, I went full blast, and then you know, shortly after, some of the TV shows started coming out and all that type of stuff. And,
Yep. Miami Ink and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, it was looking more like a career than a job opportunity, right? And,
Yeah, something that has staying power.
so I decided to stick it out, man, and see where it goes.
And here you are now, man. How many years have you been doing this?
I started my apprenticeship in the beginning of 2001.
Okay.
So, you know, coming up on starting my apprenticeship 22 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Which it's very strange how fast time goes. You know?
Exactly.
But it's well, it's kind of weird, right? Like I'm about to turn 40. How old are you, Carl?
I'm 40 now.
You're 40 now.
I'm
So
gonna be 41 next year.
did you get right into your job right out of high school?
Oh no. I worked in the casinos for about 8 years. Was laid off for a year, and then I got into the career that I'm at now.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I did that, because then I really, you know, I traveled. I got to see a lot. I got to do a lot. Doing the career that I'm doing now in law enforcement is kind of like restricting me from doing certain things. Not that I was doing illegal things, but at the same time too, it's like I'm more conscious of the things that I do and where I go and who I do them with.
Because the impact you have on your livelihood.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of strange, you know, me and some of my coworkers, we started very early, and I'm watching some people the same age as me, you know, close to retirement, that joined law enforcement, some unions. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. There's older people than me that are starting that stuff. It's crazy, but I mean, hey man, it's tough out there, and you know, definitely need people and all that stuff, man.
I can tell you that early retirement from a tattooing career, I'm sure it exists for some. But,
probably not. You'll probably be doing this until who knows how long. As long as your hands, as long as you can hold a gun, I guess.
so my spine looks like a question mark.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm actually looking to retire as soon as I can. I'm thinking I got like 8 more years at least. Depends on what's going on in my life too, and all that stuff. That plays a factor into it, you know, finances and everything. But I'm trying to get out as soon as I can, man. It's just wearing on me.
Yeah, it's an incredibly difficult job.
Yeah.
And so how often have you thought about day one of retirement?
Oh, from here on out, man, I've been thinking about it pretty much almost every day.
Right.
What I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna go, and like setting it up. And that's one of the things why I'm going to Maine is I'm going to check out states and places where I potentially would like to retire. I don't think I'm gonna stay in New Jersey, even though New Jersey is home to me. You know, I just want to do something new, do something different.
Time
Basic-
for a change of pace?
Yeah, basically I want to like set up shop somewhere, and from there just travel. You know, my sister's down in Georgia, my brother's down in San Diego, and my parents are here. I mean, I have aunts and uncles and cousins and all that stuff throughout New Jersey, you know, Pennsylvania, New York, and all that stuff. But I was thinking maybe somewhere like in the middle of them, in case I had to, you know, in case I had to fly out for an emergency or something like that for either one of them. At the same time too, it's like, well, I just want to be away from a lot of people too.
You had enough?
So I kind of want to have like a cabin in the woods somewhere. But again, I need to buy land. I need to, have that built and everything else like that. So.
Do you think that when you live around less people, the quality of engagements with people are better?
Yes, for myself, yes. Even though that the person themselves might not be of a high quality person, but still. Not only that, but doing this as well, I've learned a lot about myself from having this podcast. And the interactions I have with people and the conversations that I have, I find myself able to, communicate a lot better with people through work as well as in normal day life.
I guess you've gotten to zoom out a little bit.
Yes, right? I got to zoom out and take a wider perspective on stuff. And, just be comfortable asking questions and talking to people. Just being smart about what I'm saying and thinking about what, and I could kind of almost drive the conversation in which direction I would like to go. At the same time too, it's it's free flowing and just letting it go to where, we've been having a conversation now for, about an hour and a half, and it's been all over the place. Yeah. But that's how it is though. But there's a connection to every single topic of that conversation that we're having sparked off from something previously said. As we were talking about, the animals and stuff, and then we were talking about everything pretty much connected, maybe I guess the perspective we did something about biomechanics, and that connected into video games. So everything had a connection.
Sure.
So at least that's what I feel. And the conversations that I do have with people, they're not for everyone. But it's interesting to see other people's perspectives about stuff.
I think it's interesting when you listen to people talk, and there are questions asked or challenges made to presumptions that that do bring it to the forefront of maybe you never asked yourself that question, or looked at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I go on the fact of, somebody might be experiencing or thinking about the same thing I am, but here's my perspective, but maybe that'll help them out, or maybe they'll see it from, as you're saying, from a different perspective.
Or explore their own thoughts.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I haven't thought about that. Let me start thinking about that.
Yeah. I got one for your viewers, and I may have asked these prior in one of our appointments.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I think that it'll be fun. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Go ahead.
And you have to answer one before I ask the next.
Okay.
So the first one is, assuming that your life doesn't end tragically, if your life was a movie, what song would play during the closing credits?
The closing credits? Wow. Man. What would play in the credits? I'd have to say maybe Metallica, Turn the Page.
Turn the Page? Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 2.
Okay.
What will play during the opening credits?
Oh man. Something upbeat, man. Something to kind of get into it a little bit. Because
like Umbop?
Like Umbop? No, not. When I mean upbeat, I mean more of like a rock song. Probably maybe Thunderstruck from like AC/DC or something like that.
Okay.
Something that's anticipating some action or something like that.
Like an escalating song.
Yes, escalating. There you go.
So Arena Rock.
Arena Rock.
Okay. Third and final question.
Go ahead.
And the cover of assuming that this movie was released on DVD or VHS.
Okay.
What would be on the image of the cover?
Oh man. Wow, it's interesting.
Yeah, just finishing up everything. Everything was.
Let me see. Well, this is a movie about my life, right?
Yep.
Obviously, it would have to be me on there. I'd be on the cover.
It could be whatever you want.
It could be anything I want, but I guess I don't know.
Yeah, think about yourself back in 2001, walking in a Blockbuster.
Walking on a
down the
Blockbuster,
aisle,
yeah.
And this cover catches your eye. It's probably not just going to be a picture of you.
Well, it would be me, like probably holding like a machine gun. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
or something like that. Because I have that perspective of like thinking of like, you know, like the action hero movies.
Okay.
Even though that I'm not an action hero, but you see what I'm saying? Like, I'd like the, I guess, perspective of that.
So that's the interesting thing about these questions is the thought process that it invokes. Like, how do you see where your mind is at now, where it will be by the end, and where it was in the beginning, right? Because I can't answer these questions to this day, but I feel like they're very telling.
I mean, if
Answers, right?
if I thought about those questions like longer, I could probably give you a bunch of different answers.
And that's why I asked it, Carl.
I know, man. That's good. That is good, man. I'm gonna have to use that.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, man. I like that a lot.
That's one of my series of questions that I've come up with for the final hour of tattooing. When people are ready to give up, you have to get their brain anywhere else.
Oh man.
Because the only other alternative is you start talking about weird sex shit. You know, that seems to be the trick too.
Oh man. Speaking of that weird sex shit, that's what the HR Giger, the some of the artwork and all that stuff was like that alien.
That's all dicks and vaginas.
Oh man,
All
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But it's also the coolest dicks and vaginas you've ever seen, right? Like,
it's weird, man. And what's crazy is that there's more and more people out in the world that are attracted to like weird shit. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like
yeah,
weird movies and stuff, man. It's
some sort of artistic expression that's out of the realm, right?
yes, because I think everyone is bored of normal stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think.
It's almost as if with social media and people being connected more than ever,
Yeah.
a lot of people are susceptible to influence, right? Like, so, you know, for instance, I'll use tattooing in this case. When I started tattooing, you know, of course they had like the flashy lines on the walls, you can pick and stuff like that. But there's also custom artists. And I came into the industry as a custom artist. And what that meant was to people that there was a certain amount of pride in having something that nobody else had or nobody else thought of or a way executed that nobody else has seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then as tattooing got more popular, and social media became more involved with it and everything like that, people started saying, that's a cool tattoo, I want that. Not, I had this great idea for a tattoo.
It's like, I want that.
Yeah, and that's fine. They saw something they liked, they just never thought of it themselves. And I wonder if people will return to the fact that, you know, maybe want something a little bit more curated by, you know, through the eyes of a creative person, or the hands, or whatever it is that they're making, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what an interesting time to be alive, huh?
It is, man. And that's pretty much my first tattoo on my arm over here, the dragon that I got. I came to you with an idea and said, hey, have at it.
Yeah.
And that kind of, like you said, you know, that just allowed you to just be as creative as you want.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists, a lot of people are very good artists, you know, but it's an interesting thing to go to somebody and have them use your idea through the filter of their mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because everybody has strengths and weaknesses,
Yes.
right? And there's probably things that you are monumentally better than me.
Same thing to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is with all people, right? But you know, visualizing visual art is a particularly interesting one, I think, because I think anybody can make interesting looking art. It's just not a lot of people can get past themselves thinking that it's not good to spend enough time to make it good.
I'll tell you whatever you want.
Interesting, yeah.
Have you ever tried to draw anything, like in recent time?
In recent time, no. I've tried back in, I'd have to say high school and all that. My brother was into drawing. I was kind of like trying to figure stuff out. My brother was into drawings and he was an artist and stuff. So I was like, oh, let me try this. And I just didn't have, I don't think I had the patience for it. Number one. So I ended up going a different route with music and stuff. A friend of mine, Adam, he played guitar. I looked up to him and all that stuff, and you know, he looked at me and said, "Hey, man, you probably want to play bass guitar and everything." And you know, saved up some money, bought my first bass guitar, and that was just, it's a skill that you can learn, and you just have to keep going with it. And that's pretty much, I guess you'd say, with anything, really.
With anything. Yeah.
Anything, absolutely. The more that you put into it, the more you'll get out of it.
But it's
and the more,
interesting what you have patience for and what you don't. From any individual to individual, right?
Absolutely. It's different.
Like, you ever meet a person that just doesn't seem to think they're good at anything? And it's almost like the only thing that they're actually not good at is having patience. Because they haven't spent enough time to find out if they're actually good at something or not, right?
It's true.
Are you still playing your bass?
Unfortunately, no.
What happened, man?
When I had moved from where I was living, when I had moved down to South Jersey, I kind of fell away from it just because I couldn't find people that were playing music. I mean, or I didn't have, if you want to say, patience to find somebody. So
the fulfillment you get from playing is when playing with other people?
Yes, yeah. The bass guitar is a rhythm instrument, even though you can play solo, which is very hard to do. I pretty much will play with a group of people and stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like it, right? When you lock in with somebody, and it's almost like you enter this like telepathic state, right? Where you read the drummer and the drummer reads you. And
absolutely.
Everybody's playing off of each other.
Absolutely.
But it's like such a fleeting moment, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's like arguably rarer to find people that can get along sonically than even like a regular relationship, right?
Yep, absolutely.
I wonder what it would be like to have like a significant other that you could make music with, or someone that continually pushed you in that pursuit.
I think about that too. With like, you know, being with someone that does jujitsu or something. You see what I'm saying? Like, how much would you be burnt out with? Like,
somebody has a similar pursuit.
Like your wife, you know, she did tattooing as well. Or if, you know, you were married to someone that did the same job that you did. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then it becomes the same. There's got to be something a little bit different. Even though I'm sure you guys are both artistic, but in your own way.
Sure. I think the ideal setup is to somehow be each other's muses.
Yes.
In the creative pursuit.
And be patient with each other, pretty much, and learn from each other. That's the biggest thing, man.
Is it possible, Carl?
Is it possible? I have no idea, man. No idea. But yeah, life is interesting.
That's to say the least, man.
You never know who you're gonna meet the next day, man.
No, that's why you know, it's it's interesting to keep pushing because you turn the page on a new day and you never know. Could be the worst day of your life. Could be the best. Could be the least significant day you've ever had. Could be the day where you're holding that machine gun up for your photo shoot for your movie.
Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah. Oh man.
It'd be fun to go through all the photographs that you have of yourself and you had to pick one of those for your movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I should put that out online. Like, here's the rules, guys. You have to use a picture of you. You can Photoshop it, but not heavily.
But what kind of movie do you want? That's the thing, like.
It's different for every person, right?
Exactly, yeah.
What kind of movie do you think you want your life to be portrayed as?
Well, parts of it would be action and parts of it would be dramatic, I'd have to say. Because that's my life. Some action, some drama. But I guess maybe some people it's just comedy and drama and all that stuff. But
Right.
yeah, I'd have to say so. Action and some drama.
That's an interesting question to go off of then. What movie are you aware of that's the closest that you could picture it to be? In metaphorical sense.
Closest I could picture myself being in?
When it was cute, you could dress them up. Once we dress them up.
Yeah, and what I always think trick-or-treating is kind of like a terrible thing.
If anything, I would have to say closest right now would be Fight Club.
Fight Club?
It's because that was such
So I just never really loved
like an in-depth movie of figuring out yourself.
And I kind of just said, so I was like, look,
At least that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, it's
I mean, even though that he was crazy and had split personalities and all that stuff, which I don't have split personalities, but it's something to really make you think about stuff.
the duality that maybe it's not split personalities, but everybody has with their thoughts, right?
definitely into like as a kid.
Yeah.
I think there wasn't a lot of
It's a tough question too.
because my parents did like we never went all out. We never decorated, you know what I mean? Like I would get dressed up, but like
What about the sequel?
What about the sequel? Oh man,
Or maybe your trilogy, right?
a trilogy. Man, I don't know. Sometimes I think that I was born in the wrong time,
Like the wrong era,
like the wrong era. Yes,
the wrong dimension.
wrong era. I could say. Dimension, I have no idea, but the era.
maybe not. So we'll see. I'm
Would
neighborhood and
is there an era that resonates with you?
Kind of like the I would say the things that I like is like the Roman era, medieval times and stuff like that, and even Old West of the Cowboys. So
Like what aspect of those, like, do you think resonates with you? Like,
I feel like they were tough times. You know, they were like hard people living because it was a struggle. And I don't know why I would want to go to a time to where you be struggling to live. You know what I'm saying? Because why? Because we have so many comfort creatures right now, man. It's like,
yeah, but you never feel like you're living more though than when you're almost dying,
yes,
right? Like,
exactly.
I'm sure your job's putting you in certain predicaments, stuff like that. That
You feel more alive at that closeness to death.
or you don't know how much you want to go on living.
Oh yeah,
Because
afterwards,
you-
because you were just
well-
experienced.
But it's it's one of these experiences you could have where it could have gone another way, like real easily. You know what I mean? Like you know, I said before, I was like, I never realized how much I want to go on living until I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Like I never realized how important sticking around was until the thought of that being actually threatened. You know.
Yeah, man.
But my son's in Philadelphia.
I know that a lot of people that are in like military law enforcement, all these type of things,
Okay, so he's doing that.
can have a really hard time relating to the civilian world
Yeah.
Just
A lot of people have hard time transitioning
Yeah, I mean,
when they're done their service and all that stuff.
I mean, just the perspective of you see what people in day-to-day life are getting all worked up and frustrated with and everything like that. You know, it's like the perspective is so narrow because the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't also have to be aware of all the things that go on. They don't have to deal. They have the luxury that they don't have to think about how many people got robbed this weekend, how many people got raped, or how many, you know, being inundated around that stuff is, you know, I'm not sure if we're meant to or not meant to be exposed to that type of stuff all the time.
What, life and death? Or
Just the realities of existence of bad things happening.
But I think being more aware of it and understanding that anything can happen at any point in time, you know, makes you appreciate the good times that you do have. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there's quite a few people, there's a lot of people that live in like a fishbowl pretty much, that have no concept of the evil that is out there in the world. And there's a lot of evil out there.
They're monsters for sure.
So, and I feel like if you're aware of that stuff, you'll take the time and make the decisions a little bit more calculated. So,
what do you think the hardest part for retirement for you would be from your career?
the people,
Yeah.
the relationships, just the camaraderie and all that stuff.
I hear that. That's a very frequent answer.
It's because there's people that I've been working there, 12 years. Relationships, I've seen these people every day, working with them and all that stuff, and then, being retired and then not seeing them anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that would probably be the hardest thing.
Got to start like an old man club or something, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Go play bocce ball and shoot podcasts.
No. I always thought to myself, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to find a group of people that are gonna want to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, get in a van with paintball gear and go.
Call me at 7, Carl.
Yeah, there we go.
Call me
Okay.
at 3.
Ah, come on, man.
It's okay. Have fun with that.
Yep.
That will be wild, though, right? Just to wake up and assuming that your financial needs are taken care of and everything.
Yeah, man. Just wake up and not have to worry about stuff.
Yeah, I guess the only thing you have to worry about is your body's still working right?
Body and the mind.
Arguably saying.
Yes, because it's definitely a wear, man. On those high stressful situations, it's a wear on people. And I've been taking the time to really like take care of myself more and more now, because I only got one mind and one body pretty much.
Yeah, you got.
And I'm getting older and older, man, and things are hurting. Things are hurting, waking up and all that stuff, and I got to stretch. Stretching's a thing now, man. Never used to have to stretch before.
Yeah?
Stretching is a thing.
Do you follow like a strict routine or anything like that?
For certain areas, like my calves are very tight. My hamstrings are tight, which causes pelvic tilt, which causes back pain. And it's throwing my posture off completely. I have pretty bad posture. So it's like those little things from like the shoes that I have on now. There's no sole to them, as you can see.
They look pretty comfy.
They are. They're absolutely comfortable. It's the whole zero drop barefoot type, shoe movement now. That's a craze. But these shoes here, I found them online. It's a German company and everything. And they feel amazing, man. They're nice and light and all that stuff. And I feel more connected to the earth.
Okay.
And that's going back to, I guess, if you want to call it like primitive or ancient times, to where people were walking around barefoot.
Right.
Now people are throwing on like synthetic soles and all that stuff, and your heel is lifted up, and your feet are crammed into this sneaker or whatever, and you're not getting the full range of motion of all the bones in your feet and the muscles and everything. And that's why a lot of people, have those problems, because the thick heel on the sneakers, is changing everything, changing the way that you're stepping and all that stuff, and it's tightening up your, like I said, your muscles and everything. So I feel like my feet have gotten stronger, ankles, calves, and all that stuff. So
For years, I was wearing those 5-finger shoes. You ever see those?
yes, I do have a pair of them.
I probably wore them back in the day when I first met you.
I think you did.
I was pretty avid wearer, man. I wore them every day, and I loved them. I still have them. I still wear them.
Do you?
I don't wear them to in colder weather, but or like a real hard hike or something like that.
Yeah.
But I really like those though. They're it's interesting, right? I think there was like a Buddhist quote. And I don't know what it means or in what context it was given to, but I could be wrong. It might not be Buddhist at all. But somebody said, if you wear shoe leathers, then all your feet will ever feel is shoe leathers. That's kind of like a philosophical impact to it, right? Like I'm trying to decipher what that means to me, because it's not just about shoes, obviously. You know what I mean? It's like if you live your life a certain way, and it restricts you to only living in a certain way, like
absolutely,
a
yeah,
job or career or something like that, right? Like it's kind of an interesting thing to swirl around in your head. But, it'd be interesting to talk to like a lot of people that have had careers like yours, that to see what people choose to do on the other end. Because I know a lot of LE guys and stuff like that, they don't even make it very long after the careers.
No, it's that high stress. It's going 100 miles an hour for years, and then all of a sudden going back to zero.
Yeah.
Like people don't know how to transition to that part, especially we'll even talk about military people. Besides the traumatic brain injuries that they have, the PTSD and all that stuff as well, they really go into a deep depression because of what they were doing, that high stress environment, and now there's no stress or low stress.
In that situation.
Yes.
Versus waiting in line at Walmart.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Do you think that hypervigilance is something that can be learned to turn off?
You have to learn to adjust it. Even though that I'm not at work, I still have, I guess, my awareness is still up, because like I said, seeing things at a place, like if you look at any situation, you see all the normal stuff. Once you know everything that's normal, you'll start to see that's not normal. You see what I'm saying? Like the guy walking. Yes. Yeah. Guy that's walking in a weird pattern, or he's stopping and waiting, or certain situations. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people, they're not aware of that stuff, and that's how they get taken advantage, because predators are out there preying on the weak that are not paying attention.
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's just my thought and my perspective and all that stuff too. So I mean,
I think it's a reasonable assumption. I've always found it interesting that so few people seemingly don't prepare to deal with those people.
And that's the thing. Yes, if you have a mindset of knowing that something can happen at any point in time, not to stress yourself out about it, or to become paranoid or anything like that, because that can happen. But just knowing that and just thinking about the next step. But at the same time too, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. But at the same time too, if you're expecting a punch, then you can go from there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm walking around like expecting someone to punch me in the face all the time. But I know it can happen at any point in time, depending on if that person is not acting normal. You see what I'm saying?
I do. It's kind of amazing
That's never like
how well people do get along.
surveying, I think.
Yeah,
You know, like with the rule of law and stuff like that. Like,
absolutely.
because like you're seeing
Like there was one
like places like Philadelphia and all these other cities that are just going wild,
Oh, absolutely.
and like you took law enforcement out of the equation, and those predatory people are probably just doing what they were doing before, just doing it with a lot less worry about ramifications, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How they got rid of the wolves in Yellowstone
I,
National Park, and how it changed the
I wonder how fast, society would fall apart if we just lost electricity.
Oh yeah, man. Who's talking about that? I think Joe Rogan might have been talking about that. If they, if we ever had an attack on our electrical grid and the power went out, man, I'd probably give it maybe a couple days. You know, of course, the looting and all that stuff would be happening within like the first 2 days.
Right.
Because then people would stop going to stores, people would stop going to work because of the electricity and all that stuff. And people would only worry about taking care of themselves and then thinking about that. But then that would cause mass hysteria as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first thing you do is lock your doors, right? I mean, it's something like that.
But that's one of the questions that I asked a couple friends of mine on the podcast would be, you know, impending doom is coming. Where do you go? What do you do? And then break it down even further. Is it a tidal wave that's coming? Probably going to the mountains. Is it, a meteor that's coming? You see what I'm saying? Like, I like to throw out there the zombie apocalypse, even though it'll never happen, but still, it's something, it's fun. Pretty much, whatever I had with me, it's basically food, shelter, and all that stuff, and then I'd probably be, headed toward north, pretty much, colder areas.
Zombies don't like cold?
Not saying that they don't like cold, but there's less population.
Is this a zombie scenario where the already dead rise up as zombies as well?
I think so. Like Night of the Living Dead and all that stuff.
Yeah, because can only the remains, or do they kind of reform into zombies?
I don't know, man.
That's the tough part, right?
Yes.
What if you go where there was a civilization that lived before, and you're like, well, shit, I didn't expect all these zombies here.
It's true. Now, are they slow-moving zombies, or are they, speed-running zombies, like World War Z movies, or like the normal zombies?
How about this?
All right.
The longer they've been dead for, the slower they are.
Okay, that's acceptable.
So people that were from 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago,
They're just crawling,
super
pretty much.
fucking slow.
Yeah,
Like they even bike slow and shit. But there could be a shit ton of them.
exactly.
But if somebody's just like a fresh one, they have close to the speeds that they have before they die.
Yeah, 2 savers
Yeah.
and 1 spender.
Yeah,
Or 2 spenders and 1 saver, sorry.
it's crazy.
Why do you think that usually animals aren't involved in zombie apocalypse? It's like it's always just the people come back.
Maybe because they can sense it, and they can run away and get away faster.
But I'm saying, why don't the dead animals come back?
I don't know, man. It's interesting.
Ooh, what would be the most terrifying zombie creature there could be?
Again, I'd have to say ape,
An ape?
like a gorilla, like a zombie gorilla or a zombie tiger or lion or something like that. One of those two, man. I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I wonder what a zombie dinosaur would be like.
Man,
They move super duper slow because they've been dead for forever, but
still terrifying.
Like, there's nothing you can do about that thing, right?
No, nothing at all, man.
We're like, what's like a really invasive species? It'd be terrible. You just had zombie house cats everywhere.
Oh man, that sounds like a good horror movie. Zombie house cats.
Zombie house cats. There's a funny name there, and I'm not missing it. Some people pussy.
Oh man, that's funny. Man, oh man.
So let's say hypothetically you're hiking through Maine.
Okay.
Right? You're all by yourself.
Yep.
Beautiful, everything like that. And you see what you perceive as a zombie. Like,
Okay.
It has some sort of distinguishing factor where you're like, that person can't be alive.
Okay.
There's like a cannonball hole through their chest or their heartbeat or something.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do? All depends on how close it is to me. If I could just get away, I would probably just keep getting away.
Okay, we're gonna go cinematic. You slip and fall about 6 feet. Not
Okay.
enough to disable you.
Twist my ankle.
Twist your ankle pretty good.
I can't fucking
You're
run.
stuck between a rock where you'll be able to get out, but it's gonna take you like a couple tries.
Okay.
And then you look up, 10 feet away, is that zombie just staggering towards you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go with whatever's on my person. Do I have my gun? Do I have a knife? If I don't have that, is there a rock? Is there a stick?
Okay.
Okay. And then if it comes down to it, I train jiu-jitsu and MMA and all that stuff. I think I can, I think I could kind of like handle it. Maybe.
You think you avoid getting chomped, hustling, man?
I can avoid getting chomped, but I don't know about getting scratched. Now that's another thing too.
Yeah,
So
scratches definitely count, right? In zombie apocalypses.
I could. If it's just one, possibly. I don't know how strong it's going to be, but you know what I'm saying?
So, okay, hypothetically, you get away. Do you tell somebody?
Yeah, if I see someone close by, I'd be like, yo, this just happened. Come check this out.
You wouldn't think they'd be like, this dude's fucking crazy. He thinks he just saw a zombie in the
Well, I
woods.
don't think I'm gonna tell someone, hey, there's a zombie. Hey, man, can you come check this out real quick? Like, I saw this.
Someone's hurt?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, man, can you? Yeah, I'm like, something weird over here, man. Can you come check this out? I don't believe what I'm seeing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't put them like, yo, man, I just strangled the zombie to death. You see what I'm saying? Like, I bashed it. Because then people are probably thinking like, this guy just committed murder.
Because they didn't see if the thing was dead first.
Now that's another thing too. But like you said, if it looked like there was a like a cannonball hole in their chest or something like that,
Right.
there's no way I could have did that. You see what I'm saying?
One would assume.
One would assume, but it all depends on that person.
Right.
So yeah,
I
that
don't know if I tell anybody,
I don't
man.
want it to, my husband was a gambler.
Just because, like, what if it's a secret program?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Once they know.
then now the government's out after me. Well, what if that guy's part of the government then too? You see what I'm saying?
That's an interesting question. Would you rather have the undead out after you or the government?
Blackjack.
The undead. I'd rather have the undead after me because I know what I'm getting at.
Right.
The government could be anybody.
It's true. So it makes you
It could be anybody that's, lying in wait.
Yeah.
Or someone around me the government pays off to whack me or something like that.
Yeah.
It's another thing too, so. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where we were.
What about a zombie government?
A zombie government? I think that's where we're in right now, is a zombie government.
Yeah, they live like one of those, right?
Yeah.
Go through it. And
That,
fine.
yeah, they lived. They were zombies or they were aliens?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I'm going to have to rewatch that, but I thought that it was like aliens. And that he had these special glasses that, put on these glasses they could see
Right.
the difference, which was pretty cool, man. Some people even think I don't want to talk about conspiracy theories, but the whole lizard people,
Right.
they're talking about how lizard people are still around. They have like this lizard blood and all that stuff, and those are people that are controlling us pretty much, in our government and all that stuff, but I don't believe all that stuff.
No?
That I don't believe.
I remember watching videos of alleged reptile humanoids.
Yes.
And their eyes changing and all that goofy stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember. I don't think I ever fell for it, but I definitely was like, "Yo, guys, check this out." That would be that'd be a surprise, right?
Yeah.
The
Man.
craziest conspiracy theories ended up being the true ones.
Man.
Color guard.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if the humanoid reptiles were like a thing. Like, did they ever look like reptiles? Or they always look like
Well, that's it. Like if you put that.
like, cause like what's reptilian about them exactly? You know what I mean? Like
Their blood.
their blood, so they're cold-blooded. So wouldn't they have to like hang out on rocks and shit all day, catch some sun?
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious. Like, how do we defeat them? Well, that's a pretty easy one. You know, they're really concerned about global warming.
Oh, yeah.
Planet getting cooler.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's what it's all about.
Who knows, man? But they probably evolved, though.
Like continually evolved.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I guess they'd have to evolve from like a quadruped or bipedal, right? Because they couldn't have a snake person, I guess, right? That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be interesting.
What member of the U.S. government do you think would be most likely to be a human reptile?
Human reptile?
If you had to have like a hunch or pick one, right? Like,
Oh, man. If I could think of something.
like, what if it came out in the news like, oh, turns out this person's a human reptile? Like, you could be like, yeah.
Oh, I knew that.
saw
I
it.
figured that. I don't know, man. That's hard, man. Maybe Nancy Pelosi or something like that.
She has like a reptilian, like a sense of predation.
Okay.
You know, like
I'll make a program that throws the basketball in the hoop
I don't know.
and a screen that looks like it's me doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know why I think about her and like Hillary Clinton that way. I don't know why. I don't know why, to be honest with you.
Hillary Clinton's an interesting one.
Yeah, right?
She it's interesting how you hear nothing about Bill anymore these days. You just hear about Hillary, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, she's in the spotlight, man. She's trying to become president and all that stuff.
Is she gonna run again?
I have no idea, man. No idea.
Do you think that like Bill was just like a proxy for her will?
Well, I think what happened, she stuck with him because so that she could get to where she's at. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any normal woman would accept. I mean, there are some women probably out there that accept, you know, their husband's cheating on them and all that stuff. But, you know, I don't know. It's just, I think it's crazy. I think she just stayed with him just for the whole power thing afterwards. That's what I think. But she probably would have been even more empowered if she, you know, divorced him or, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I try not to think about things like other people's stuff that has nothing, that'll not make me a better person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's interesting to think about and stuff, but I don't know. I try to limit my thought process on certain things that are
You're afraid of being put on the list?
afraid of being put on a list. No. I'm completely no one to them.
Okay.
I have no power or nothing like that. So I have a podcast. That's all I have.
It'd be pretty
I mean,
powerful.
words are powerful.
Yeah.
You know, people get in a fight over words.
Well, I saw recently that the Alex Jones
Oh yeah.
ruling, like, has to, I guess, pay out all the money in the world to whoever.
Yeah.
And
Dividing and conquering.
you know, one of the takes on it that I was reading was kind of interesting to think about is that
I don't remember how
does
to
something like that
toilet. I don't remember how to
create a precedent that could be cited in court for other people to pursue things? Like,
Yeah.
by, you know, I don't know exactly what he was convicted of other than, you know, defamation of character,
Yes.
psychological suffering, and all these things, right? Like, but I do wonder if that's going to set a precedent for
Well,
where's the line where you can be, you know, like,
well, right now that's Kanye West. He, you know, was talking about George Floyd, and supposedly George Floyd's family is trying to sue him,
what did he say about George Floyd?
saying that the cause of death was through was it fentanyl,
I would say the same.
and not, you know, him being suffocated, pretty much.
Right.
So, so right now the family is suing him. I don't know how that's going to work or whatever, but that's between them and the courts to figure that out, man. But
But I'm wondering, like, on what grounds
can they sue him?
can they sue him on if somebody's just saying something?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
I don't, like, I mean, I'm a litigious person, right? So, like, I don't understand the legal scaffolding of what it takes to sue somebody or not sue somebody or whatever. But
Yeah, me neither.
Well, he's just
did he have,
rolled it by last
like,
year.
fentanyl in his system?
Talked him out of it.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Rolled it
I
Yeah, I don't know
didn't.
anything about that. I remember
I just gotta
reading
adjust.
conjecture about that stuff, but I never read before enough into it to
Yeah, I did not. And that's the thing, though. Like, he was responsible for his life and didn't provide aid at a reasonable time to where he needed it to save his life.
That's where the conviction of Derek Chauvin.
Yes,
was
that's
on.
well. I mean, that's my thought process of, you know, he's a law enforcement officer. He's under his arrest. So when he's under his arrest, he's basically responsible for his life.
Like, you have stewardship for that person.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you have to provide life-saving means when it's time to. You know what I'm saying? And clearly, it didn't show any of that stuff, and he clearly did not do any of that stuff. The outcome could have still been the same, but if he acted differently, it could have been a different scenario.
Did that dude Derek ever defend himself? Like, did he ever, like,
He had the trial and all that stuff, but I
didn't
don't.
watch any of it.
I didn't watch any of
I
it
wonder,
either.
like, if he tried to rationalize his behavior. Like, because, you know, it's hard for me to understand a scenario where you could rationalize that behavior. But I'm also have never dealt with people, you know, in that capacity of, you know, law enforcement or anything like that. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'd be lying if I said I knew anything about protocol or what's acceptable, what's unacceptable. I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah.
It looked pretty bad. I mean,
It was really bad.
yeah.
It didn't look pretty. It was really bad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I just, you know, I do martial arts myself and stuff like that.
Yes.
I can think of a lot of restraints that are more effective
Absolutely.
than crushing somebody's neck.
Yes. But that's the thing, though. Like, that's the one things that I pretty much pushed was, you know, jiu-jitsu and law enforcement and all this stuff, and training that stuff, and training it, you know, if you could daily, if not, you know, weekly at least. It's like a diminishing thing, like even shooting a gun, tattooing. Like, if you're not constantly keeping up with it, or, you know, putting time into it to perfecting yourself, you're going to lose it.
Yeah, or you're not going to be able to perform at a high level under duress.
Exactly, and that's the biggest thing, is that stress training, and that's a lot of things. Like, and at the same time too, it's as we were talking about before, the, you know, post-traumatic stress that people have on themselves. You know, they acting in a different way.
Right. The thing that weirded me out about that whole thing was, coming from a law enforcement perspective,
Well, if he doesn't fall in line.
under what
That's why
scenario
they don't.
would you have somebody in a car and then take them out of a car?
And they probably, you know.
Like, I can't think of a
I-
scenario where that
yeah.
exists unless you were like, oh, sorry, we made a mistake, here you go free. Like, that's
Yeah.
all the time that would
But-
happen, right?
Exactly.
Because a lot of times the detainment is for both people's safety,
Yeah.
right? But he was in the car, and then took him out of the car.
Yeah, that.
And I was like, what the fuck?
I gotcha.
Why?
Why would he do that?
Yeah, like, is there anything in your knowledge that you would undetain somebody? Or just take them out of a vehicle for detention? Like, unless they were thinking about letting him go?
No. It's definitely not the case in that scenario.
I mean, I don't think it was the case either. I'm just like, I'm just trying to think as far as like,
My perspective,
from an
dude,
operational standpoint, what
nope, not at all.
world would do something and why? Like,
Nope. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's what spooked me out about the whole thing. Made me want to start bringing the tinfoil hat out a little bit, because I was like, everything about that was so strange. Like, I've seen a lot of fucked up shit on the internet, man. But I've never
Yes.
seen anything like that. That was like, it was just bizarre. Like watching it happen, and people just like sitting around, not doing anything about like.
Oh yeah,
All
absolutely.
these different aspects about it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different points of perspective from all sides of what happened.
Yes.
But I mean, the only thing I can see is what videos are online. That's it.
That's it too.
None
Yeah.
of it made any sense to me from any
Absolutely.
point of perspective, from the initial engagement to the way it played out, to the escalation, de-escalation, the re-escalation. Like, it's like, what the fuck are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's definitely a weird situation, man.
I
Very
wonder if there's been any other scenarios that were,
similar to that.
like played out in a similar fashion of like somebody's detained. Seemingly everything's okay. Let's go down to the station, deal with whatever is or isn't happening, and they're like, you know what? Let's take him out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very strange. And I would like to know. I would like to hear somebody's perspective as to why somebody would be taken out of the car if they're already in it. The only thing, well, I guess to administer medical aid could be one thing, right?
Would be aid, yeah. If that guy was
Yeah, they're in the car
under duress and all
they're
that
having
stuff.
some problems, so you got to take
Take
them
him out.
But obviously that wasn't the case, because he wasn't administering aid to him when he took him out.
No, not at all. That's the thing. Like I can see if they put him in there and he overdosed in the car, pull him out and render aid, or had a heart attack or something like that. That's something I could see as well. But
Well, how about this hypothetical?
I mean,
Let's say, hypothetically, he was on drugs.
okay.
You have him in the car. He starts complaining about health problems. And it's dire, like something like, I think I'm having a heart attack. I think I'm having a stroke. I can't breathe, or something like that.
It's right to the hospital.
So you would drive in the hospital. You wouldn't wait for first responders to get to you.
Well, I would call it. Me personally, I'd probably call in and meet them somewhere. Like, hey, I'm headed to the hospital in this route, in this direction. Can send someone.
Because they can clear through traffic the same way.
They could exactly.
Right.
So that's like 2 points meeting faster.
Right.
At the same time too. But then if he went unconscious, then that's when it comes to a point in time to where it's like, now I need to start rendering aid.
Yeah, because I can see it like, if there was like, this is happening, we have somebody right around the block,
Yep.
they're this many minutes away, this dude's losing his shit, what do I do? Bring him out so we can get to him right away.
Yep.
But there was none of that went on now, right? Like, I don't know, I to be honest, I don't know, but like,
Yeah, I don't know the
assume
full
that's
story
not-
too.
I'm assuming that there was a radio call to dispatch or something like that, that would have been out there.
That's yeah. I don't know, man. To be honest with you. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I would think. Would be like, hey, man, this guy's under duress. We start taking him to the hospital. If he actually, signs change, like he passes out or goes out or something like that, then it's all right. I need to pull over and start rendering aid.
Right.
I need to start doing that.
Have you ever had to render aid to somebody that was on drugs?
I've
That was,
never.
like, uncontrollable?
I've never administered Narcan, but yeah, I've rendered aid to quite a few people.
Is that a tough call though, when you're like, this person could definitely endanger me while I'm administering aid?
Yes,
Like,
but
on the right combination of drugs or something like that.
yes, but at the same time too, like I'm never there by myself.
Right.
I'm always there with a group of people. So, and if it does turn combative or it turns into a hostile situation, then we can, secure him and then have him seen. You see what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you would be able to overpower.
Well, that's pretty much. I think that might be somewhat the scenario. Was they arrested him? He was in the back of the car, complained of who knows whatever health problems. So they probably brought him out, waiting for an ambulance to show up. That's the only thing I could think of.
It's the only reason you would take somebody out of the car, right? Because otherwise, like you said, you would just.
I would just drive in that direction, and head that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very strange.
Yeah.
It makes me start asking questions I can't seem to find the answers for.
Yeah, sure.
But also keep in mind that unfortunately, there's a lot of human error in most things that people do.
Absolutely.
And there's egregious error.
Mm-hmm.
There's this is different than intention, right? But yeah, I don't know. That was a really weird scenario, and big wake up call to a lot of people. I think, because people got to see what a lot of people have been complaining about for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah.
At least it seemed that way anyway. If I wasn't there in a scenario, I don't.
That's the other thing too. I can only give an opinion from looking from the outside, and actually being. I've been in certain situations to where I've had other people look in the outside and tell me what they thought, what they would have done, and it's like, well, you weren't there. That's the other thing too.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of nuance to every situation.
Yeah.
And
everyone's going to handle a situation differently.
I know nothing about that situation.
Yeah.
Very strange. The strangest thing is how the dude that was the dude Derek was just like staring at the camera.
Oh yeah.
Which is like that was probably the strangest part of it.
Well, I'm sure he was staring at the person that was holding the camera, and I'm sure that person was antagonizing them. So, but I don't know.
Yeah,
unless he knew that he was being recorded, and So.
When I was doing my MBA,
it is very, very strange.
CEO of Lala came in to talk to our class.
Like it almost, I don't like to have a strong opinion on things that I'm not involved in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's interesting how quiet all that stuff went.
One of the things he said was that
I guess just so much has happened in the world, and people don't have the attention span to really
focus on everything.
focus on one thing for too long.
Yeah, it's true. On to the next big thing, pretty much.
Yeah, and I guess that's the way it is.
The big thing right now is gas prices and all that stuff. All that stuff that's going on overseas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
for sure. And it would be great.
big mess.
Oh yeah, it's a mess, man. It's a mess.
Where do you think all the cards are going to end up lying?
Where do I think they're gonna line up?
Just based on your personal thoughts, not based on fact or anything like that.
Well, from what I can see from history, America was always in a war. No matter what, even if there's like small little things that are going on, there's always something going on.
Right.
So I don't know how long this is going to go on with Ukraine and Russia, but I do know that the oil has a major effect on Europe right now. Supposedly people are saying that Europe is going to be freezing.
Right.
So I don't know, man. Within the next couple months, we're going to find out what's going to happen. Something's going to get pushed in a good or bad direction sooner or later.
Well, this is what the original cause of wars is resources, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And Yeah, it's very strange the way everything's playing out with that, you know, because I don't know enough about any of those countries to
I don't either,
really
man.
comment on it, but it's like a bad movie almost, you know, like with the pipeline getting blown up and all that. And everybody's like, oh, it wasn't us. Like,
Everyone's pointing fingers at each other, pretty much. Yeah. So
yeah, it's but what happens when people start freezing, man? Like I bet you
Chaos.
they
It's
turn
gonna
on
be
their
chaos.
fellow man real quick.
Oh, absolutely. It's gonna be chaotic, man. It's gonna be chaotic.
What's gonna seed so much crime?
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm fully looking.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Where is this all going?
The trunk is open. If you look at the backup camera, it looks at the sky.
Is this real?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Do you think that
I opened it because I was loading and I'm like, you know what? It's kind
there'll be an
of
unexpected player in this whole conflict?
door, like my house. But it's straight sky and it's like,
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be the European people. They're the players.
Right.
They have a vote in this because they're gonna be affected by it.
Right.
Whoever's being affected by that gas, not getting that oil or whatever. Even the American people too. We're affected too with the prices and everything.
What I'm afraid of is that you know, I don't know who's at fault for what part of what conflict. I just, you know, it's easy to say one person's at fault, but I don't think it's ever that simple.
No.
But you know, it's a dangerous place to be, I guess, when you have oil and the whole world needs it, and they always seem to have that for you.
Absolutely.
And but then you have like Saudi Arabia, who, I mean, I think they seem to be that's their whole game is the oil game. But you haven't heard them in the conversation at all. Who's doing what or leveraging what? Right? Like who else would be interested in having a stake in this? Like,
Well, you got to figure who needs it the most.
right?
There's also talk about China needs it, you know. So
Yeah, it's so hard to find out who is actually doing what and for what reason, right? Like I feel like I've read, and I don't know if it's true or anything like that, like the U.S. reserves of oil and stuff like that. And my first thought was that the reason we're not tapping into our reserves is because
we need it for wartime. It's
they
coming.
need it for the war machine.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. And that's the very first thing I thought. I was like, well, they don't give a fuck about gas prices for us.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
don't give, you know what I mean? Like none of that's gonna matter if you don't have a fucking country. Like,
Yeah, because we need that stuff for the planes and the tanks and.
think about how much fuel you need for that shit, man.
Oh yeah, a lot. To be effective too.
Yeah. There's no way a war could be fought without that, right? There's no shot, right? Unless I mean there's some wild fucking technology and abundance that we don't know about, but
Well, the biggest thing is the cyber attacks, man. That's-
right now, yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So
Yeah, my Verizon has been suspectedly low performance since all the shit started, so I imagine they got a lot of shit on their plate over there. Still not happy about it though.
oh man,
I've had a lot of friends complain about the internet connections have sucked lately.
man.
I just imagine that the DoD's got their hands full with that shit, right? So what would you do? King Carl comes to the rescue of the whole complex.
That's tough, man, because my perspective has changed over the years, and the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So you're not going to make everyone happy in the decisions that you make. You have to make those hard decisions too,
Right.
because majority of people don't see the big picture. So when you're at that level, I couldn't imagine being like the president. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level, man. But it'd be tough.
Yeah, I just hope that we all live long enough where I can read a book about with the truth of the matter what all this shit was, you know? Same thing with COVID.
Absolutely.
Same thing with all these things that, I can't understand. I want to read a book that's accurate. without having to have my superpower of knowing what's true.
You always have like back issues you deal with.
Yeah, but that book, how how can you believe that book is true?
Disrupt it.
Don't ruin my fantasy card.
Ah, I know, man. Playing devil's advocate there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lots of so weird to think about history and the stories that you find, the stories that are told, the history that's been destroyed.
Yeah.
We have no fucking clue what the truth probably is,
No, man, not at all.
right? Like, there's some like a lot of it's probably known pretty well, but like the full story, like we can't even figure out the full story with all the technology and all the connections we have now. Let alone digging up broken pots and houses and a couple bones, reading some scripts. Like, yeah, okay, we got it.
But yeah, I tried to drop 2 cases on my shoulder as I was turning, trying to be like super quick, and
Yeah, it is.
it just, you know, it's
Have a
like
very
having, like,
strange,
a
eerie
person
feeling
jump on your back,
of
like,
the war is coming.
Yeah, man.
All the players are lining up. All the allegiances are being made,
And
Mhm.
you know when something happens, you instantly know it was
and I feel like
that's bad.
This isn't gonna be
once the
right.
backstabbing begins,
There was a crunch, but it was just like,
that's when shit's really gonna hit the fan.
would you rather have $1 million or time machine to go back
Yeah,
in seconds?
it's crazy.
Because with all everybody lining up, what is the right move as
The last thing you do.
our country? Do you think?
Because I kept my neck down for some
Our country?
Like as far as interventionist policy,
Well,
it seems to be easy answer when you're dealing with countries that have nowhere near the resources
but it's
the
the
U.S. have.
the pacts and the allegiances that we have, who we align with from previous wars and all. You know what I'm saying? That we have to uphold those things.
Yeah.
But there has to be a line to it, though, too. And
But-
kind of like say, hey, man, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Because we still have to take care of ourselves as well.
But it's also the thing like, oh, we hope that everybody has a plan so they get punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I wonder what happens to those treaties and all those things when push comes to shove.
That's what I'm saying. Do
And you gotta
people...
start making hard decisions.
Yeah. That your allegiances aren't going to, stay with certain countries and stuff, man. That's crazy. People, like you said, backstabbing each other.
I mean, if you look at every major world conflict, that's what the case was. Right? And
Yeah.
I wonder why that would be any different now. But I wonder if like these conflicts are what make countries break apart.
I think so, yeah.
Potential for the U.S. to break apart, or China to break apart, or Russia to break. Because the reverberations of these conflicts are, I think, so incredibly complex now at this point. And
Yeah.
I do wonder what will happen.
Interesting.
What if the U.S. government's like, all right, guys, good thing. We got a contingency plan. You're not going to believe this. We're going to space.
Going to space.
Going to space, guys.
They're not going to take all of us. Only the elitists. Like Elysium.
It's going to be like Biden's Ark, right? Like,
That's pretty much it, yeah.
where, like, I've always joked for years now about Trump. Like, just as a fun thought experiment, a lot of very polarizing figure. I guess people love, hate, and different, whatever. But it just seems like it would be like ironic, like if somehow in the 11th hour, 59th minute, and 59th second, he did something that was like undeniable to like cement himself as like the greatest president. The guy who said grab him by the pussy somehow in the history books did something undeniable.
Oh, man.
Like it'd just be funny. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like or same thing with Biden, right? Maybe at the very last moment he somehow performs an act of heroicism.
Well, here's the thing, though. The president is just a figurehead. I think there's people behind the president that are actually pulling the strings. Like a group
Yeah,
of
100%.
elitist people. I'm not
Yeah.
sure who they are,
Otherwise,
but
we would have terminals, right? Like,
yes. So, with Congress and Senate and all that stuff.
But an imaginary scenario. What president would be the greatest one to have to look back on and be like, he did the greatest thing that anybody's ever known?
Oh, man.
20 years of doing that work, which is fine, but like it's just not.
Does it end up being George W? I'm back, America.
Yeah, pretty much. That'd be funny. That'd be funny, man.
Or like, I wonder what would happen if like, you know, like people are like volunteering to go serve over in Ukraine and stuff like that. What would happen if like a politician volunteered, or like an ex-president or something like that? Like, how would that work with security details?
I don't think it would ever happen, but
in a hypothetical, like, I wonder how that would work. Because they have privy to so much information, stuff like that they couldn't risk them they're too valuable of an asset for the enemy to intervene with.
they would never let him go then.
They would never let him go.
They would never let him go. If they're too valuable.
How would they stop him?
How would they stop him? They'd tell him, they'd be like, listen, if you do, we're going to tell him you're a traitor.
They're just gonna
We'll blacklist
hang
you.
him out to dry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I think so. Yeah, if they defy him, yeah, we're gonna throw all your dirty laundry out there for the public. That's what I would think. Then who would want to have this person with them or next to them? You know what I'm saying?
What if he grew like a sick mustache and nobody recognized him?
Oh man.
Like imagine like you know, someone like Trump, he gets like all like svelte and shit. He gets all like
Oh, that's hilarious.
jacked.
That's funny. That's hilarious. But yeah.
What do you think of the idea of leaders, specifically the president, having to have served in the military?
I believe that a lot.
Yeah.
I believe they should have, because then that person knows what it's like to have been in combat and knows the decisions that they would be making to send other men and women and their children to armed conflict. You know what I'm saying? So, like the politicians that I like is Dan Crenshaw, Republican out of Texas. Tulsi Gabbard. She just now left the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot.
I still like her a lot.
I still. I'd like to see what she has next going on. She actually has the Tulsi Gabbard channel, or the Tulsi Gabbard show. I follow it too. Yeah. I just watched the one video that she had up there, man. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's like someone like that, I back 100%, because again, do you think they would be warmongering, or would they understand that, hey, especially Dan Crenshaw, he lost his eye.
Right.
But they know they've been there through war and all that stuff, so maybe they would be hesitant to not pull the trigger on going to war with other countries that don't affect the American people or interests. But as you're saying, it's the country's interests are in other countries.
Right.
Like the oil, microchips in Taiwan, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I saw the news headline that said that China found crystals on the moon that can power nuclear fusion for infinite free energy. Like,
Wish that was true.
What do you think would happen if it was? Would World War exist instantly for people to scramble to get that? To get control of it?
Maybe. Or maybe that's what Elon Musk was doing. He was trying to see what it would take to get to the moon or to outer space from his own private company so they could resource that stuff.
I didn't know that.
I was just thought about it now, since, he did recently go to space. Maybe he's thinking about there's something out there's something on the moon, or maybe China did find this, maybe it is true, and now he's trying to get out there. But if that was actually true, I think the United States government would already be sending people out there, and that's why we have the Space Force.
They're looking at him like, God damn, boy, you know what I
Aren't there these people like that? Well, maybe there is a secret moon base. Imagine if that was the case. Imagine if that technology did exist, but the leadership decided it's too radical a change.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's too big of a change to shake up the world. We have to.
It's the thing about like
ease people into it.
like UFOs as well. Maybe they're easing people into it now.
Right. But like
yet-
the economy would be like unbelievably rocked if there was infinite free energy.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you think about that for a second, I mean, everything on everybody's economy is based on
But
fuel.
but how would you distribute that energy? That's the thing, though.
Well,
So
that's maybe why they have to delay it, because they're trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out, and then they have to change everything too. So there's so many jobs that they would have to create just to transition into that power, that energy. You know what I'm saying?
What if they had the
Capacity.
foresight
Okay.
to see the way technology is going
Yeah.
and to see where AI and robotics are going and say, why don't we wait to debut that technology until we have enough systems that can automate all this technology? So we don't have to worry about manpower.
Yeah.
Now we're in a whole different scenario where machines do everything and we have the infinite clean energy to do it with.
He was there doing it, and he was like, "This is awesome."
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Because, all these like conspiracy theories, with anything like COVID or anything else, like, if there was a theory, it's interesting how typically people think of one step in a conspiracy of where it's going to get to. But advanced leadership, I think, would be thinking about step 19, step 20.
Oh yeah.
You like all these contingency plans and stuff like that. And it's annoying about a lot of these conspiracy theories that, some are very comprehensive, but most of them are just like, they don't look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like, what if you had the smartest people in the world planning to leverage a situation? How many steps do you think they think? I mean, think about law enforcement. How many contingency plans do you train for on any given mission? You know what I mean? Like, or anything like that. It's probably a shit ton, right? Like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
why would it be any different with them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I keep thinking about how cavalier we seem to be, well, via the media anyway, about Russia having hypersonic missiles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it will be like Elysium. They have this advanced technology, but it's just reserved for, I guess, the elite, quote unquote, right?
The elitist. Yep.
Have you ever talked about a secret moon base on your podcast yet?
That's the first, man. We're touching multiple topics.
Yeah, we're getting some meat and potatoes in this thing.
Oh yeah, man. This is gonna be one of the best.
Oh.
As long as this microphone's working pretty good, and we're not really picking up most of the music.
Right.
Maybe monetization by the music or something like that, or the tattoo gun. But yeah, man, we're doing pretty good. We're at 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Got a lot of stuff to work through.
Going strong here, man. Yeah. Break it down in a couple episodes or something. I got good content. Oh yeah, good content. So the main thing is I gotta download it all off the camera tonight, so it's all ready for tomorrow for the adventure. Because I'm not gonna be bringing my computer with me. So
Yeah, you don't want to take yourself out of the experience totally.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Do you have like an itinerary set for yourself for the trip?
I do. I plan on doing at least one thing a day.
That should be cool.
And if I do one thing a day, then it gives me freedom to explore and check out things. Kind of like just go with the flow. Like I said, meet people there, ask them what's going on around locally, bartenders or hotel workers and stuff like that, and go from there.
Are you gonna pack a Halloween costume?
No, I'm not going to be there for Halloween.
But a lot of Halloween stuff happens.
I know, man. I was
Prior to.
thinking maybe. I don't know.
Get some of those glasses with the fake mustache or something.
Something stupid. Yeah, I might just have to do that.
Well, that'd be fun to experiment. Get the most ridiculous fake mustache and go out one of the nights wearing it. And just see how natural you can act in a ridiculous mustache.
Oh man, that's funny.
With like a Fu Manchu down to your waist or something, you know. Then have some dime piece. I can't believe how attractive I am here.
With the fake mustache. That's funny.
Next day you come in, you're growing it permanently. Like, what's going on, man?
Hey, what are you doing? What life choices are you making now?
My customer yesterday had a pretty sweet stash.
Oh yeah?
He's National Guard,
Okay.
and so I guess that's all he's allowed to grow.
It's the stash, yeah.
That's amazing because he's a 25-year-old, but a mustache makes any dude
Oh yeah, absolutely.
40, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's funny.
Did anybody in your family have a mustache?
No. No. Oh yeah, my uncle. He was a cop.
Okay.
So he had that, you know, that cop stash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad had a mustache. I feel like most of my friends' dads had mustaches.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. No, my dad was clean shaven and all that stuff. So.
you ever rock just a stash?
I did, man, and it might look like an '80s cop or porn star. I'm like, oh man. So might have to bust it out again.
Did it come in red?
No. It was my mustache. That's the thing. Like it comes in blonde,
Okay.
like lighter, compared to the rest.
Top stash, man. A blonde mustache. Yeah.
It's not like super blonde, but yeah,
Blonde.
it's definitely lighter. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely, as you can see, I'm definitely growing a beard out now.
You gonna let it go all 19 days?
Oh yeah, I'm actually through work. It paid $20 to a what do I say? To some type of charity, pretty much, and then you could grow it to the end of the year.
Oh, so it's November plus?
Yep. It's no shave November to don't shave December. And
Oh, you got a beastly beard going, huh?
yeah, I don't know, man. It gets to a point though. I need to start buying like beard oil and all that stuff
I think it's a little wily.
because it's not that. It's just that my face, the skin, it gets dried.
Starts itching, right?
Yeah, and then I get tired of it.
Mine's at the cusp right now. If I let it go any longer, it's
Yeah.
gonna start just itch like crazy.
And then I'll probably shave it off, and I'll probably just keep a goatee. I definitely like a goatee. So
I don't know, man. I say do something weird.
do something weird. One in Arizona when I was at Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, I had the handlebar mustache.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was funny. It was hilarious. It was hilarious though.
Yeah, it's just something truly crazy. You ever see the guy that he had like the monkey shaved in his head and the beard was like came around his face in the mustache?
No, I gotta
Like,
check that
came
out.
around and curled as the monkey's tail.
Oh wow, interesting.
He had some game.
Yeah, I'm not that crazy or stylish.
I think if you're a Maine, you're gonna fall into that mountain man energy, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Become a lumberjack.
My buddy moved out to California when we were younger. We all would go out and visit him and stuff like that. My buddy Adam had the best help. He's like, I was so confused because he lives in like Chico.
Okay.
By the time he lived in Paradise at the time, where the town that burnt down from
Yeah.
all the wildfires.
Yeah.
But everybody up there, my buddy Adam's like, dude, I can't tell if they're metal or they're mountain. Like, because everybody had like long hair and beards out there.
Okay.
He's
Oh
like, everybody
yeah.
looks like a metalhead, but they also all look like a
Mountain man.
like a mountain man. He's like, I can't tell.
That's funny.
People be like, say you had a friend in here, you're like your husband or whatever, when your friends hang out like with a dude, and they would say
So nobody wanted to go with you, man, or you wanted to keep it solo?
No, I want to keep it solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one. A few guys from work were like, "Oh man, you know, that's crazy." I'm like, "Hey man, you want to come along?" Then I'm like, "Nah, I don't want anyone. I just want to go do this on my own,
Right.
experience myself, so and just get away from everything."
Gain some perspective on things, right? When
Yeah,
you're out of the norm and all that.
and that's the thing. Like, I could put on whatever persona I want to
But that's that hard.
around people I've never seen or met before in my life. You know what I'm saying?
That's a weird,
Weird perspective.
not perspective, just a weird opportunity,
Yeah, right?
right? Like,
Together.
It is, man. We don't know why it's so very quick.
That's if I want to do that, but I'm probably just gonna just be me
yeah,
in another place. So
figure out what, it's like Florida Stanley from The Office.
Mhm.
Figure out what, Maine Carl is, right? Like,
yeah, it's funny.
well, I hope you have a great time, man. I think that,
Oh, I'm going to. I know
the
that.
makings of a really memorable trip, at least.
Absolutely.
Just, hopefully no diarrhea or anything like that in the woods.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna have some Maine lobster. I'm gonna be sick for a week.
Shit, yeah.
I'm like,
You'll be all right.
yeah.
That's a pro tip, though. You ever go hiking or camping?
Mhm.
Take Benadryl, take aspirin, take fucking Imodium. You have that in a little vial. And
There you go,
then
man.
you prepare for most things, you know.
I'm gonna have to bring that on my camping trip when I go.
Oh yeah. You never had the shits while you were camping or anything, man? Sucks.
No, I'm good.
Oh,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Oh man.
I always take Benadryl, you know, not just for yourself, but others too. Somebody got a bee sting or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Same thing with aspirin. Somebody has a heart attack or something like that, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. True. True.
Have you done much hiking this year?
Just a little bit here and there. But this trip coming up, it's gonna be the main thing. It's gonna be, you know, the 4 mile hike in.
Yeah.
You know, the two overnights and a 4 mile hike back. So
Yeah, it'd be cool. Have you ever done backpacking before?
I did it once before with same friend of mine from work. You know, we did this trip. You know, I think like 2 years ago in December.
Right.
So
Was it awesome?
yeah, man, it was cold, but it was still awesome.
Yeah, I always wanted to try backpacking.
So I learned a lot. I took a lot of things that I thought I needed there. I upgraded a lot of things too for weight, because when you're hiking 4 miles in, man,
Oh yeah.
everything counts.
Did you file down your toothbrush?
Not yet.
No, you're not there yet.
Nope.
Yeah, my wife was still interested. You ever heard of bike packing?
No.
So, what people do is they'll, like, it's like backpacking, but you're on your bike.
Okay.
So you have all your stuff on your bike, so people will say ride 30, 40 miles in a day,
Mhm.
camp, and then either keep going or ride back. So it'd be like mountain biking instead of walking.
It's like extreme.
You get a stretch right there?
Yeah, I do actually. Time to stretch.
Stretch it out, man.
Or feeling it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll feel fine. So not anything you did you can do again.
It's awesome detail though.
You like it?
I do, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be long cool, man.
I can imagine what you're gonna do next.
Yeah, man. You ever think about like collecting any like ancient stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple. I have a Viking sword. You know, I got it from like a Renaissance festival.
Right.
I got like some movie props and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely would like to get some like ancient
Like
stuff.
a real deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't have the money for that.
How much do you think that stuff costs?
Thousands of dollars, easily.
Yeah.
Like real antique stuff. So
Yeah, I wouldn't even know if it was real anyway. I'd be a sucker that thought, oh, it's totally real. Yeah. It's like quietly stamped made in Taiwan.
Oh, yeah.
Doing something like.
and that's the other thing too. Is like how do you know that it's real or not?
I guess you have to know a.
You have to know
Expert, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You need one of those Pawn Star call-ins.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. You have to call one of the experts in.
That's funny. I feel like that show would be better without the actual people at the Pawn Star. Just have like the curators, right? Like talk about interesting shit. You collect anything?
I do not, man. I do not collect anything. I used to collect quarters before, but nothing crazy.
Right.
Different years and the different, like the years that they would come out with the different states and all that stuff.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I don't collect stuff either. I'm not a collector. Stuff guy. Some stuff is cool.
Guess I'm a movie collector. I have a bunch of DVDs still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get anything new lately?
I didn't buy anything, but I traded with a buddy of mine.
Okay.
So I gave him a bunch of movies. He gave me a bunch of movies. There's still quite a few of them I have to watch. So.
Do you have like a favorite movie of all time?
I'd have to say like probably maybe a top 5 with like it's Fight Club, Braveheart, 300. I'd like to throw in there like Lost Highway.
That's a good. I forgot about that.
I know, right? That's a weird one. And Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a pretty good one. That's a deep one too, right?
Yeah, I remember being surprised as to how much I liked that movie when I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good movie. The actors, the visual effects, and all that stuff was really good.
Yeah, there's movies that make you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Inconclusive ones. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. But what about you, man? What's one of your top movies?
My favorite movie of all time is Willow.
Willow.
I don't know if you've
They're
ever
actually
seen
making
that.
a series.
Yeah, it's gonna come out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. That was
Yeah.
such a good movie. Mad Mortigan and
Yeah, man.
Val
I'm
Kilmer
excited
and all
to
that
see
stuff.
what they do with it. You know?
It's gonna be awesome.
I figure Disney joining into the fantasy realm, they're gonna kill it. They're gonna crush
Oh yeah,
it.
because they had the
Like,
money and the backing and all that stuff with it.
Yeah. Willow's a weird movie, dude, because it's like a lot of people like our age don't remember it, but I think most people have never even heard of it. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of those. Yeah, it's like one of those hidden films, man.
yeah, it's weird. Like it's directed by Ron Howard of all people. You know, like, which is weird to think about. Happy Days guy.
Absolutely.
But other ones, my favorites. Let's see. I love Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Like probably more than I should.
The first one, right?
Yeah, I've never seen the subsequent ones.
Oh, the other ones are horrible, man.
They're
I
like
saw
straight
like maybe
DVD ones or whatever?
yes, yeah, absolutely.
I love the original Alien movie and the second one.
Yep, 1 and 2 is always good.
Yeah, 1 and 2 is great. The original Predator is one of my absolute favorites.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch. It's easier to go genre by genre, right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, on my wall in the studio there, we've got RoboCop.
One of my favorites too.
We've got Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator. We've got Bloodsport, and we have the elusive unicorn there. And the unicorn, people are signing and all this stuff. I should have brought it today. Just had you sign it.
Oh, you
Since
actually
you have
a
it-
unicorn that people are signing?
Yeah, it's like a. Yeah, I have to show you a picture. It's
Okay.
it's kind of like with the guests, they sign it.
I see.
There's a whole skit that my one co-host he first brought like 2 posters for the background,
Okay.
and one was Batman and the other one was this unicorn,
Okay.
and he was pretty much trolling me. I call him the most famous internet troll that I know.
Okay.
So
His life in his mission in life is to troll you.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Well, on the show and all that stuff.
Right.
And then one of the guys, they saw it, they're like, "Oh man, that'd be great if people would, sign it." And then I was trying to get this guy to come on the show for the longest time because it was his idea to do it.
Right.
And then at a point in time, he's like, just do it. And so then we started incorporating it with guys, and they would come on the show and they would sign it. So yeah, we did it live on one show.
I could sign a shitty piece of tape and you could stick it to it.
I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. You have to tell me where you want me to place it.
Right. I'll get a hunk of fake skin from Mike. I'll tattoo my signature.
Oh man, that's fun.
Yeah, but I remember hearing that I think they're doing a new RoboCop game.
Yes,
And,
it's like an actual first-person thing, so I'm not
they're
sure about
using-
that.
Who's the guy who voiced over RoboCop? He played RoboCop rather than voiced over him.
What, this new one?
No, the video game. The same dude.
Oh, the
is
same
gonna
guy.
Voice it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Whoever played Murphy or whatever. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I freaking love those movies, man.
They had such great one-liners.
Yeah, but just any of those dystopian future, like Demolition
Oh yeah,
Man.
Demolition Man. That was another good one.
Like, have you seen that recently? 'Cause
Yes.
That's like kind of eerie. Like
How-
some of the stuffs they go over in that film that are like somewhat applicable to today. I'm like, oh man, this is weird.
Yeah, it's interesting, man.
What do you think the greatest horror movie is of all time?
Horror movie. Now that can be broken down into a bunch of different categories as well. But
We're gonna blanket statement this one.
Event Horizon.
Oh man, that's a good one.
I know that's one of my top horror movies. Because that's like, futuristic and all that stuff. And space, anything in space seems to be
A little bit creepier.
a little bit creepier, but it's intriguing to me and stuff.
Yeah, that's a movie that I'm always surprised how many people haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
But that's a strong offering.
Mm.
I was just saw on it's like Reddit or something like that the other day. Apparently there was a cut that was edited out
Yes. Mm-hmm.
of
It was
the
so
blood orgy
bad.
scene or whatever.
Mhm.
Because I mean it was pretty bad to begin with, man. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
Would that come out like 96, 97,
Mhm.
something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
I remember like legitimately being freaked out by that movie. When I
Oh
was
yeah,
younger.
absolutely. That part when the guy had no eyes and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what freaked me out when he was climbing through the tunnels of the circuit boards,
Mm-hmm.
and then the light goes out,
Oh.
and I was like, "Fuck!" Man. I think the original Alien to me is my favorite horror movie of all time
Yeah. Okay.
because they re-released that on 4K,
Mm-hmm.
and it holds up so incredibly well. Like I think if it literally hit the theaters today, people would be like, "This is amazing!" Like, because some 4K remakes are like, "Oh man, I wish I didn't watch this in high def." That one was really good though.
But is that considered horror? Or is it more suspenseful?
I think it's horror 100%.
Okay.
Because I think that's the hallmark of any good horror movie is the suspenseful moments, right?
It's true. Mm.
Yeah. I'm ready for some good horror movies to come out though. I've been somewhat dismayed with the stuff that's been out.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that a good one recently that came out, man.
Yeah, what is the last great horror movie that you saw that came out, you think?
I can't think of it. I'm stumped pretty much.
Yeah, I find with newer horror movies, the build-up isn't the long part of the movie.
Mhm.
Like, if you look at, like, older movies, like, the majority of the movie, like, 70-80% of it's all the build-up.
Yeah.
And then shit goes down for a very short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like almost like psychologically primes you to feel whatever it is they're trying to make you feel through the film, right? But
I'd have to say one of the last movies that I did watch that was pretty crazy was the first Sinister.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It was good.
I thought that was pretty good. Not just like the whole story of it, but more of like when they were watching the films of the previous murders that took place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was gritty because the film that it was being shot in was like that low grainy budget film,
Right.
like those sequences in the movie.
Yeah,
and
it was like from an old school camp or something.
And the soundtrack and all that stuff with that too is just. I'll never forget the one moment of that movie, man. It got me. It got me.
Good jump
It's
scare.
pretty good, yeah. So, but
I thought the great jump scare was The Haunting of Hill House.
okay, yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
You know when they're in the car, and like right in between them comes the face and screams. Dude, I think my body elevated off the couch. I'm not easy to startle. I was like, oh man, they got me good.
That's pretty funny. I don't know, man.
It's been a number of years ago, but I enjoyed on Netflix. It was I think it was a Netflix film called what was it called? The Ritual. Did you see that one at all?
The Ritual. I think I did.
That's when these friends all had this plan to go on a trip, and then one of them ends up losing their life, and they decide to go on the trip in memoriam anyway. And shit goes sideways. They go to like Sweden in the woods.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
it was yeah, I did.
It got a little hokey towards the end, but like, man,
Yeah.
I thought that was a great flick.
Well, at the end they were like they met up with that cult, right? Or
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I really enjoyed that one a lot.
yeah, that was pretty good.
But a couple of those movies, they're exclusives that I feel like a lot of people sucked on. There was one of quite a few years ago called Spectral. Did you see that?
Spectral, man.
That was originally supposed to be a theatrical release, and it was bought out by Netflix.
I had to have seen it if it was on Netflix. I mainly watch a lot of Netflix stuff.
The comparison people made to that one was that it was like if Black Hawk Down and Ghostbusters were together. It was like very much like a Black Hawk Down like stranded situation, but shit started getting really weird. If you haven't seen that one, man, I think you'd enjoy it. Based
I'll
on
have
the
to,
other movies you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'm sure I did watch it, but I have to check it out.
Yeah, I would love to see a good news movie that freaks me out. You know?
Like I was saying, this black phone or whatever I heard is something
good
like
one.
that. Yeah. So
Is there any like horror?
well, I was gonna say, what was that? Hostel. The first Hostel.
That was a good flick.
That was more gory
Yeah.
than horror.
Like a shocker.
Yes.
Kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it definitely was a shocker.
Yeah, I wonder. Is there any like any horror things that you'd like to see them do another installment of?
The Human Centipede. No, I'm just kidding. they
Finally.
made like, well, from what I
There's
believe
like
they.
4 of them,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I just.
Did you really have to make more than one? Like,
Yeah, come on. One was enough of that.
right.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm more into like watching the series and stuff. I've been watching a lot of like overseas stuff
Okay.
from like Norway or France or Denmark.
They got some good shit going on.
I mean, you could pretty much take that story and put it anywhere here in America and speaking English and all that stuff, and it'd be pretty much the same thing. But it's new. It's different to see new atmosphere and like new.
Different feel.
Like this one show that I watched. It was called The Dark, whatever.
Oh, my wife watched that. Yeah.
Oh man, that was pretty intense, man. Made you think about a lot of stuff.
Was that German? Is that
That was German.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was about time travel and everything else. Yeah, there was like a connection, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah. There's probably so much good stuff that we've never heard of, too. You know, like. Did you watch Squid Game when that was out?
Oh yeah, Squid Game.
It's fantastic, right?
Absolutely, they're gonna make another one.
Like, yeah. What do you think they'll do with the sequel or prequel or whatever it is?
Whatever they'll do, it'll either, if they do a prequel, it'll be like them getting into the game, like first starting out, probably like games that didn't work as well, and so that would be interesting. It's kind of like Saw.
Right.
Saw was pretty good because Saw jumped all over the place though too with the timeline.
Right.
I kind of lost it a little bit sometimes with Saw, but the original Saw was so good.
Oh yeah.
But with Squid Game, man, I don't know. They'll either do that or they'll do one afterwards. So.
Yeah, I thought like I would like to see what's up with all, like, where did they get all the employees from?
Yeah, how they do that. That'd be interesting.
Like I wonder if that like symbolically was supposed to represent like North Korea, where like people like acclimated for complete obeyance, you know, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
About it. Yeah, but that was my only qualm with that show. I was like, wait a second, like, where do all these people come from? Who the fuck are they?
Yeah, that's crazy. What I definitely want to know is part of that show at the end where I guess the cop finds out that his brother is the one behind the mask.
Right.
So I want to know where that comes from. So they might do a prequel and kind of like show his story.
Focus on that part of it.
Yeah, how he became the man behind the mask.
Yeah, it's
That'd be interesting.
Well, I have mixed feelings. I love open endings. They're my favorite, but at the same time, I just want more. You know,
Oh yeah,
I just wanna see
absolutely.
more fucked up games, like.
Oh yeah, I can imagine what they're gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be butt stuff, right? It's gonna be weird.
Can't go wrong with that.
There you go. Yeah, there's a couple other Korean shows that I didn't get to see too. Like All of Us Are Dead, I think was the name of the one.
I did. I watched that.
Was that good?
I like that a lot. They're gonna have another series after that. I watched the show Katla. That was pretty good.
I didn't see that one.
That was in Iceland, and it was crazy. It was like people that disappeared were coming back from like the mud or something like that. It was pretty interesting.
That sounds cool.
There's a Money Heist. I saw that. That was pretty good. And then they actually had like a Korean Money Heist. I started watching that, but it was the same exact story.
Was it originally Korean and then they made an adaptation?
No, I think it was originally Spanish, from Spain.
Okay.
And then, Korea made one themselves, so.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies though. We've been watching Andor. That's the new Star Wars series.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see the new episode last night. Have you seen that though?
No, I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
it's pretty neat. And we've been watching Rings of Power.
Mm.
Lord of the Rings show. Have you seen that one?
Nope, I haven't. I got to check that out too, man.
What have you been productive or something, man?
Yeah, I've been productive, not sitting around watching stuff, man. Real busy. Now I got all the time in the world to do that.
There you go.
No. That's the last thing I need to be doing is just sitting around watching stuff. I need to be out doing stuff.
Yeah. At least play some games too, right?
Yeah, maybe. I've been off and on playing games, man, for the longest time. But
yeah, release season is upon us, even though there's very little coming out.
yeah, that's another thing too.
You think you'll play the new Call of Duty when it comes out?
No, I have no interest in playing that.
No,
I would probably play it for like maybe the story mode, but that's about it. Was it Tom Clancy's Future Soldier? I like that a lot. I would probably play that if they had another one come out.
Clancy's Future Soldier. I didn't play Future Soldier. I played the Division 1 and 2.
Division 1 and 2, yeah.
I played Rainbow Siege.
Okay. I played Wildlands 1 and 2 pretty much.
I tried it for like 5 minutes and I was like, whatever. I kind of lost interest in it pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
I never read any Tom Clancy novels, though. Have you?
I have not, man. I have not. It's something I want to pick up because of some of the stuff, just the games alone are pretty good. I'd definitely like to read the books and see how it translates and all that stuff. So, I did recently watch the Terminal List.
Oh, was that good?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I watched Gray Man. I haven't seen the Terminal List yet.
Gray Man? I'm going to have to watch Gray Man.
Yeah, you probably like that. It's
Did I watch Gray Man?
a fun action flick.
I can't remember, man.
Yeah, it's I kind of like these movies coming out now because it's like a resurrection of like the '90s action flicks, kinda, right? Like my favorite actor of all time is Arnold Schwarzenegger, easily.
Oh, there you go.
And like, I could be content with just naming his movies as my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But I wonder what happened to those kind of original action movies. Like, there was just so many of them. But like True Lies, right? Eraser, Total Recall, like. We got to come up with a great movie time, man.
Yeah, we did. We were pretty lucky, I'd have to say. It's action movies.
Judge Dredd.
The original one?
The original. I love the original.
The original one's funny.
I didn't mind the new one either.
The new one was pretty good too. I wish they made more of them though.
It just wasn't like that hookiness to it, It was.
It was more serious and dark.
Yeah, same thing with the RoboCop one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I enjoyed both of them though, but
I did as well.
I like the campiness though, man. I want some stupid shit. Have you seen all the RoboCops?
Yeah, I did back in the day. I definitely watched all the RoboCops back in the day. That was one of the movies. Series that I liked, man. They kind of lost it though, I think, after 2.
3 was a little hokey, yeah. But same person made Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah?
RoboCop. Yep.
Really?
You know how they have like the PSA commercials?
Oh yeah. It's the same
exact
thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, that's interesting.
If I wasn't so dumb, I'd remember the person's name. But
old age, man. I'm losing it.
this memory's been with me since birth. It's just getting worse.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, it would be cool to have a RoboCop game, though, man. That's gonna be cool.
I would, as we were talking about it before, I would like it more as a third-person perspective than an actual first-person perspective.
I wonder if they're gonna like Metroidvania, so you can upgrade your suit and shit, or.
Yeah, I would hope so too. Yeah, but nowadays a lot of games that are coming out are multiplayer online and all that stuff, man. People where you have to you're getting gear for points and all that stuff, or gear points.
Like the battle royales and all that.
Yeah, that's I was gonna say I didn't like that whole thing. Especially they were trying to do certain games like that. It's like there's no point.
Like they're trying to shoehorn that genre onto a game that shouldn't be
on everything. Yeah, they tried doing that with Wildlands. Wildlands was great, the first one, and then the second one that came out, Wildlands 2, and that's what they did at first, and then they came up with an update that converted it to where you could play with either the gear score or no gear score.
I see.
Yeah, and then it made it a lot better than what it should have been, but it still wasn't as good as it should have been.
I hate the idea of gear score because it takes all of your personal decision out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Experimentation, you're just looking at a number instead of the actual statistics that may apply to your play style.
And that's kind of like with Borderlands. It was always cool to see and get new weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
But if there's a weapon that I liked, and then it just the gear score, the score,
the stats seemed
was really really low.
Significant.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh man.
Did you play Wonderlands?
Yes, I did,
that was
man.
Great, wasn't it?
I did. I liked that a lot.
I still have to finish it. We're at the very end.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, what have we been playing lately? Overwatch 2 came out,
Yeah.
which that's been kind of fun.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like it's just been a desert on releases right lately.
Yeah.
If you could turn one film into a game adaptation, what would you choose?
Predator. I mean, they did make Predator game.
Like one that does it justice, though.
Yes. Yeah. They did. It was like Sega Jaguar or something like that. The system. Remember the
Okay.
Jaguar that came out?
There was the Atari Jaguar.
Atari Jaguar. My bad. And I think they had the Predator game for that. But
Yeah, it seems like both Aliens and Predator, they struggle with making a really solid game. And I know that Aliens one, Colonial Marines, just came out not too long ago.
yeah, I heard that was pretty good.
I didn't play it personally, but I'd like to.
Absolutely.
I just don't want to spend. I hate having like. You ever like have like the ADD? Like you just buy a game and your friend's like, no, we're playing this now, and then you gotta buy another game and you never get back to playing the other one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Although, if you had a game like RoboCop, right, and you had to fight against a bunch of other RoboCops, like your loadout is your body and all of this stuff, like that might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that they would do that, like do Call of Duty, but this version of Call of Duty, like you know what I mean, like all right, we're just fucking Call of Duty, but everybody's dinosaurs. You gotta pick your dinosaurs, like your weapon and all the attributes, you know, like.
Oh man, that'd be interesting.
That'd be fun. Bro, do you ever play any of these survival games at all?
No. I mean, the only thing I ever did was I turned Skyrim. Skyrim had like a mod or something like that you could put on there to where like the cold affects you, hunger affects you, and all that stuff. That's pretty much about it.
I think it'd be interesting if they had a survival game where you could utilize everything and anything you see, like every plant, everything. Like you ever watch the show Alone at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
We need
I like
to have
that show.
a game oriented on. There's a lot of survival games like that, but like I want more. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, my wife, she can't watch like animal violence at all. But recently she like said okay to watching Alone.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I've been pretty thrilled with it, but some of the seasons are good. Some of them are just like the people are just annoying as hell. Season 2 people were pretty annoying.
Man. Yeah, I've been watching survival and bushcraft videos and stuff like that on YouTube.
Are you getting into it? That'd be cool to take some of those classes, man.
Yeah,
Cool
yeah.
stuff.
There's actually this one guy that I follow. He does classes out in like Ohio or something like that. So that's something I would definitely like to do.
Yeah, I feel like to have a guided trip where like, okay, we're in the woods, we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be interesting.
And that's a lot of stuff he does too, man. He goes out there with a little backpack and he chops down trees and all that stuff and like makes a little shelter out of that in a tarp pretty much.
Okay.
Builds a fire. He brings food with him and he does pretty much like a overnighter.
How do you think you would do, man, when push comes to shove?
I think by watching those videos, I think I do a lot better than what I would have
Before.
Yes, I've taken a lot of time and learn how to tie knots and all that stuff, and that's a big thing too, man.
There's just so much to learn, right? And well, I guess maybe some people learn that stuff in like Boy Scouts.
Boy Scout and stuff, yeah. Which I never went to, so.
Yeah, I don't know how long I make it. Probably not long. I'd like to think I love camping, I love hiking, all that, but I've never had to go out and survive.
We have to think of what the main things, shelter, fire, water,
Right.
and then from there, then it's like, well, it depends on how you're surviving or what you're surviving for. So then it's food after that, and then it's just doing day-to-day stuff, man. Improving your shelter and finding better food sources and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wonder what like indigenous people would think if they were showing these shows and they could understand English. Like these people trying to survive, they're like, look at these dummies. Like, I always thought that was interesting if there was like a nuclear war globally. Like the only people that would survive are the people that are already surviving.
you got to figure, well, who wouldn't really be impacted? Is there any missiles, aimed at like South America or Africa? You see what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, the initial destruction, yeah, but like if
then it's
it
the radio.
affected the atmosphere and stuff like that, it would be detrimental to
Everyone, absolutely.
everyone. Yeah, like, but
the nuclear fallout, as well as the radiation, the waves, and all that stuff.
yeah.
So
I got really spooked out. I was on Instagram or Facebook the other day, and the advertised ad was radiation pills.
oh yeah, it's coming, man.
Like I was like, whoa! Like it's not that far of a stretch for that to be advertised to me because I've already bought nascent iodine a while ago, or potassium iodide. But I was really thrown off by it. I was like, holy shit! Like they're advertising radiation sickness pills and shit. Like, oh man.
Oh yeah, it's something else. Get your shots. That's the new thing.
Get your shots.
Get your radiation shot.
The fuck is a radiation shot?
I don't know, man. Something that's gonna shield you from the radiation fallout,
Oh, that'd be a great hustle.
right?
Like, well, if shit goes wrong, people aren't gonna know if it works until that
Exactly.
goes down. And if it doesn't work, the world's destroyed. Doesn't matter.
Don't
You
matter.
made your money,
There you
right?
go, man. Absolutely.
Get your radiation booster.
Yep. Pretty much.
Now approved for toddlers.
Oh yeah.
What is a prison's contingency for a situation like that?
I don't know, man. Not to be working that day.
Or just leave?
Pretty much.
Would you let them go, or would you?
That wouldn't be my call, man.
If it was your call,
If it was my call, probably just let him go.
yeah, you'd like be far enough distance, you just open all the
Like,
gates.
yep. It's like, see you later. I mean,
Fuck
yeah.
out of the area.
If the world is, if it's collapsing at that point in time, just let them all out. And probably take it over myself, and then use that as a shelter, like the Walking Dead style, man. Yep.
So how that worked out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there are plans in place though, like
Natural
Things like
disaster.
that.
There's like natural disaster and all that stuff, but I don't know about Armageddon or something like that, like World War III.
yeah, that's a whole different thing though, right?
Mhm.
But like that's what's so scary to think about, like that without rule of law scenario. Whether it's regardless of what it's caused by. Just like there's no government, there's no cops.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine how
That's a
dangerous
mess.
things. Like, what would you like? So let's say you have the neighbors that you have now.
Yep.
What do you do with them?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I do anything with them. I have enough supplies and all that stuff.
But like, what if they asked you to share your resources? If they caught wind that you had them.
I'd probably limit to who I gave stuff to. But once you start doing that, then other people are gonna, they're gonna find out
That's what I'm saying.
And then you're going to start getting people to come after you.
Yeah, like it's like, imagine if you had kids or something like that, and you were to put in a scenario where like, the only way that I can do anything for my family is literally to murder
Yeah.
somebody and take their shit.
Pretty much.
Because that's what you'd be dealing with, is dead people at that desperation level.
Absolutely.
And I have no idea how that would play out at all.
Yeah, it'd be pretty bad. It'd be survival of the fittest, pretty much.
Survival of the ones who have guns. Anyway. Yeah, you ever like think in your head, like, okay, of all the possessions you have, like, what's the one pair of pants you'd wear? What's the one shirt you'd wear? What's the one pair of shoes? You're like,
oh yeah, thinking about your end of the world outfit.
Your loadout.
I'd have to have at least a couple pairs of pants and stuff.
No, we're talking one.
Man. All right.
We're asking the hard questions, Colin.
Probably one of my pairs of 5'11" hiking pants and something like that.
Oh, you like them? They're nice.
Yeah, they're comfortable. Got plenty of pockets because they're cargo pants. Yeah. Just having those extra pockets and everything are key for survival situations.
Yeah, I always think about that. I'm looking through my stuff. I'm like, all right, well, I have one.
Yeah, the one jacket. I'm gonna take one jacket. That's
One jacket.
that you're gonna need. It's gonna have to be something that's waterproof.
One would think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can only take one gun.
You'd have to have at least a handgun and a shotgun or a rifle.
But in this scenario, you don't get to pick one.
Have to be a handgun then.
For concealability, or?
Yeah, that as well as I don't know. There's less moving parts, and the availability of ammunition. That's another thing too.
That's a big one. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but on that, assumption. Do you see a scenario where, if you can only carry what you have on you and stuff, like, would you carry 5.56, 9.9, or 9mm, or even a 22?
Mhm.
Like, what? I wonder what would be the right choice,
Yeah.
Because a 22, you can carry 1,000 rounds without even noticing it.
Yeah, that's another thing.
1,000 rounds of 9,
Yeah, you're starting to feel it.
40, 50 pounds, man. Like,
Yep. Same thing with 223 and all that stuff.
yeah,
You're hunking that around.
yeah.
And just imagine if you don't have magazines for all that stuff. Now they're just, they're just loose rounds in a bag, pretty
Yep.
much making noise.
Jingling around.
Yeah, you can. It's nice to have 1,000 rounds, but do you have enough magazines to carry all that stuff, man?
I have to get more magazines for all of my firearms.
Oh yeah,
in general.
absolutely,
I have to,
absolutely.
I really got to get on
Gotta
that.
have all that stuff preloaded and everything.
Yeah, I keep meaning to do that with for my rifle,
Mhm.
just to have like a whole ammo case with 6 mags loaded, ready to go.
Mhm. Yeah,
I have 4 mags, 2 loaded, ready to go, but I should probably load them all up.
yeah. And the other thing too, then you got to think about the spring retention on that and having them compressed all the
So
time.
I've read a lot of conflicting things about that,
Okay.
about different manufacturers, different magazines,
Mhm.
things like that. I've heard people say that it's worse to leave them loaded. So I've read people who say it's worse to leave them unloaded. Like,
Yeah. Everything's gonna eventually break,
eventually, yeah.
so it's always good to have something to fix it, or
Well, I guess you could half load them. Maybe it'd be better for long. I don't know, right?
who knows, man? I don't know.
I've been practicing with only the Glock 43X now,
Okay.
and man, it is an arduous task getting to where I want to be with that.
Mhm.
Last time I was practicing a lot of one-handed,
Okay.
and I was really surprised. I was shooting it more accurately one-handed than two-handed. which then must mean I must be messing something up with my left hand.
With your support hand, yeah, absolutely.
But hopefully I get to go on this Monday, and I'm dreading it. We do all weekend.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna hate it, man.
Something you got to do, though.
Yeah, I've never really trained much weekend at all, so we'll see how that goes. I feel like a lot of times, though, the more time that I sit there and think about what I'm doing and go through all the steps in my head,
Yeah.
the worse I do. Sometimes
Yeah, you're
I just-
overthinking things.
Yeah, because you have good days and bad days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 times ago, I had a great day. And the last time I went, not so great.
Okay.
Not horrific, but just like,
Not as good as you wanted.
well, I was been making so much progress
Mhm.
with learning, just how to shoot that thing well. And it's been an interesting journey with that one because it's I haven't shot many things that are that small.
Okay.
Especially in a caliber that's bigger than like 22.
Mhm.
So it's been an adventure. It's making me want to just take my other 9s so bad now. I feel like I'm going to look like a world-class shooter with those after I get Is that what you guys have to qualify for off-duty? The 43 or 43X?
It's anything 40 caliber and lower.
Oh, so you can qualify whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. Now, that's only if it's a Glock. Now, if it's a different weapon, we have to qualify with that as well.
I see.
So,
What are your thoughts on Glock?
I like it. I like it a lot. Is it the best thing out there? I'm sure there's other things that are better, but I mean, it does what it's meant to do.
Reliably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, reliably.
I can't figure out how I feel about the Glock sights. Like
Well, the basic sights, yeah.
Yeah, the drop in the bucket ones they come with. It's acquiring pretty quickly with it, but I have so much practice to do it.
Oh, man.
Which one do you like for your off-duty?
I have the 19.
Okay.
I would like to get the Slim 9, but
You got 48?
or single stack 9, yeah. But I have other things that are requiring my attention and money.
Like tattoos.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, my Steyr, it's like a compact 9, and I fucking love that gun, man. It's
Yeah, you're
so
telling me.
goddamn much, and, I'm missing shooting it. Because, like, just forcing myself to only train with this 43 is like, it's been such a trying endeavor. Did you have a hard time transitioning to a much smaller one?
No, not at all.
No.
No. It's pretty much all the same, but
Yeah, I feel like I might have flinchitis, man, with the smaller one. Even though I swear I'm not flinching, something's happening. Now, with this being said, I'm not shooting horribly either. Like, I'm still shooting within 10 inches, 10 yards, but like,
I gotcha. You just think maybe incorporating dummy rounds?
I should.
That'll tell you if you're flinching or
Yeah. But I've been practicing a lot of dry fire with it too,
Okay.
and really paying attention to where it's moving and stuff like that. And I think I'm just still experimenting with grips, with the smaller, like the thinner grip. Because, like I said, some days I'm on the money with the thing, man. Other days I'm just like, first mag, I'm like, whoa, easy now. Like, on the target, but like,
Yeah.
I can see myself pulling low or pulling low left. You know, and, I know what's happening there. It's just drives me nuts. Just gotta keep training.
That's it, man. A big thing is training for the medical part too.
Yeah.
Because God forbid, something happens, you need to, patch a hole or something.
Yeah. So I had a crash course by my guy. I have all the supplies you can think of.
Good.
I have field surgeon kits. I have everything.
Yeah, there you go.
But so I learned how to plug a gun hole. I learned how to apply tourniquets correctly, Israeli bandages, packing wounds,
Chest seals and all that stuff.
Yeah, I have a lung inflator,
Okay.
positive pressure, big old sticker things with the valves, which obviously I haven't gotten to practice that in reality, which
I
I
gotcha.
hope I never have to. But
And you got body armor too?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, they're running a. It's supposed to be like indoor. I think they're labeling it as a carbine course. So I might do it this weekend if I can, because I haven't done much training with the chest rig and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So I feel like to start out with being trained rather than just my dipshit ass trying to figure it out would probably be a good thing,
I gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I want to run it with the plate in it or just run it just the carrier for the training, because I don't know what exactly they're gonna have us doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But it'd be interesting. But the only reason I'm hesitant is, and the only rifle I have is a bullpup, and I don't know a lot of the stuff whether it's going to apply to using a bullpup in these situations or not. Because it's focused, I think, on carbines, which I think a lot of it should be similar.
Should be transition, yeah.
Yeah,
same
but
thing.
I don't know because I haven't spent an enormous amount of time practicing reloads and stuff like that with it. Like, I've practiced, but could always use a lot more practice, But a lot of the things they do at the courses, they'll do stress testing and stuff like that, so they'll have you engage in a hand-to-hand and have to draw and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's good.
Get your heart rate up.
Because that's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, static shooting's fun, but
Doesn't do it. Yeah.
I mean, when it
when that shit hits the fan and when it counts. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's like it's a lot different than that, But practice my draw. Not every day, but almost every day. I'll do a couple draws just to acquire targets too off of draw, which that seems to be a big oversight with a lot of people that I've talked to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you're good once you're like this, but like getting from that point to drawing, especially like on the move or if somebody's moving and stuff like that, to acquire just that repetition of bringing your sights to your eye. Like I noticed immediately that was a habit I had to break.
Oh yeah.
Looking for the sight versus just pushing it into my.
Yeah, pushing it in the your sights. Yep, your view.
What's common mistakes that you see a lot of people make, man?
A lot of it's the grip and the flinching and all that stuff. Those are the main two things. Slapping the trigger.
Right. Yeah, I find that I think that's where all the problem with the smaller Glock comes from, is the grip I'm getting on it, because
it's smaller. Because then you have to adjust it.
well, I'm wrapping my fingers too far around it
Yes.
on my master grip. So like,
Okay.
I've noticed myself doing it and I've corrected it, but when I'm practicing drawing and stuff like that, that's a weird one to get used to the other one, because like the way you naturally grab a gun, usually you have to turn your hand out like a weird
Yep.
kind of claw feeling, which is much easier to do with my larger ones. With that, drawing from an appendix carry and stuff like that, it's a weird position to get your hand into. But I do all with my style.